to press the buttons.
I pull up with the check it, but they wanna hear it, so here I go. Let me talk my shit. Yeah. Let me talk my shit. They talking that shit. That's a double dose. Underlay, vamonos. They lucky I did not pull up with the check it, but they wanna hear it, so here I go. Let me talk my shit. Yeah. Let me talk my shit. Things like this, it don't happen often. I get around my partner with shit talking. Spitting it, cussing, it happen often. Having deep conversations about what we lost in. Shot at the shot, this conversation getting hot. That double dose showed me a lot. Then check it, told me not to move around. It's the law of the land, and you know, gotta lay it down. We talk about this, we talk about that. You send it through email, we put it on wax. When you enter this room, need to listen closely. We shit talking here, ain't no sugarcoating. So enjoy the show and embrace the moment. This is double dose and checking my...
I'm gonna learn how to do that sound thing at one point. What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your boy Chucky.
Girl, double dose.
It's the Wayne for the one time.
It's
And our
Miss
special
B.
guest, Miss B.
Yay,
We got to be like introduced properly because I've never been on here before.
I know that's what I was trying to do.
Right, said your name, so I was like, it's the Mickey Mouse Club.
Wait a minute. M-I-C-K-E-Y M-O-U-S-E. Sorry.
No judgment. No judgment.
Yes. So we have a special guest tonight, Miss B. She
Hello.
also goes by Miss B. She also, what is your page? What is your page on Facebook?
A few minutes of positivity with B.
Few minutes of positivity with V. Yes, on Facebook. She does daily words of affirmation and positivity. Every day except Thursdays. I don't know why she doesn't do Thursdays. Every day except Wednesdays. I don't know why she doesn't do Wednesdays because I watch them every day. And they actually help me throughout the day. But she says she tries to give people a break. But they help me throughout the week. But for some odd reason on Wednesday, she don't think my mental health and my
I've been trying to do Wednesday. I have been. It just hasn't been working. I don't know. I've been trying. It's just not working.
It could be that you need Wednesday for yourself.
I was gonna say because even the Lord rested on Sunday.
I'm saying
So-
so. It's actually Saturday, but it's okay. Yeah.
So tonight's topic is
Unsolicited lies.
Oh God.
Ooh, I'm pretty sure we all have had an unsolicited lie, unnecessary lie brought to us for no apparent reason at all. Like the wind just blew, and you know what? I got attacked by a deer outside.
a Deborah.
Deer ran up and attacked me. Like, you know,
What is a Deborah?
a deer. It's a cross between a deer and a zebra. A deer.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
It's not a real thing. No, it's a Kevin Hart thing when he made up a lie to his ex-wife
Right.
about cheating. That is an unnecessary ass lie. A deer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It highlights the whole. It highlights the whole. This is so improbable that why are you giving me this information? Correct. So I'm with it. I saw a flock of deer, bro. I live in Houston. All right. So I saw a flock of deer, bro, out here just grazing. I was like, wow, that was impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Volunteer lies.
Yeah, unsolicited, unnecessary lies. You know, I value creative lies. I value creative lies because I sit back and I think, I'm like, wow, you really must have thought this all the way through to create this fabrication in your mind. You are truly a special case.
No, ma'am, because I feel like if you use that much energy to create that much of a lot, you could have used that mental energy to do something else. Did you have to use all of that time and weaving to lie when you could have wrote a book?
You could have wrote a book.
Song,
Yeah.
or did something great with your life. No.
You could have fed a homeless person.
Huh?
You could have fed a homeless person with.
I mean, hey, whatever. But you lied.
I mean, my only thing is that what kind of value did this bring to this day or this conversation?
Yeah. Yeah. So here's my thing, right? With unsolicited lies or just voluntary lies, or just we all tell our little white lies here or there. So for me, this is no judgment for any or all of us who tell our little white lie here or there or what have you. But it's the ones that are consecutive with their preposterous storytelling. Like, because at some point it's a lie, but it's a story. Like how Double Dose was saying, it's an elaborate, detailed thing. Yeah, like Miss V said, baby, go write a book or do something. Put some energy out into the world. It's not gonna come back to you void. Because I feel like you out here voluntarily giving out these really drawn out stories, and then you get caught in your shit. What do you do when you get caught in your shit?
And see, I have an answer for that.
Yes.
But can I first define or break down the psychological background of a compulsive liar?
Let's do that. Yeah. For those listening in or watching, let's give some context here.
Okay. So compulsive lying describes a condition in which a person tells falsehoods out of habit, sometimes for no reason at all. It is also known as pathological lying or mythomania, which I will define for you also, and habitual lying. Also see narcissistic personality, borderline personality,
disorder,
impulsivity, and bipolar. So pathological is obsessive compulsive or disease. Mythomania is the tendency to lie, exaggerate, or relate incredible imaginary adventures as if they really happened, occurring in some psychiatric disorders.
So this is all a psychiatric thing?
Yes.
See, in the South, we embellish. See, none of that had anything to do with lying. We
okay, but an embellishment is saying, okay, so my dress has a little gold on it. Embellishment is, oh girl, my whole sash was gold. That's an embellishment.
And see, that's what we do.
This is talking about is saying, I came in, my whole dress was made of gold. I had a carriage, it was made of gold too. The horse's bridle was made of gold. I had servants to open the door and they had on gold. That is compulsive lying.
When it said you had a dress from Rainbow riding in a 1995 Toyota Corolla.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm with it. But I've always wondered, why do people feel like why do people feel the need to lie? Like I will excuse children. And the reason why I will excuse children, because one, children pick it up from adults. 2, 9 times out of 10, if a child is lying, they probably just don't want to get into any trouble. Right. And they trying to avoid either some kind of discipline, whether it's corporal punishment or, or gentle parenting punishment. That's about the only time it's children and adolescents is about the only ones I'll give that pass to, because, it's a silly reason, but at the same time, it's like, all right, we can work on that.
Yeah.
But adults, why are you lying? Like, there's no need to lie.
So lying is a learned behavior, right? So when the children are children and they're lying, you kind of have to nip it in the bud then. And you have to explain to them, okay, so this is what it looks like when you lie, and this is what it looks like when you tell the truth.
Right.
These are the consequences of lying, and these are the outcomes of telling the truth. You have to show them the differences, and one outweighs the other, and how one is better than the other. If they are not taught that as children, if that seed is not planted for them as children, they grow up to be these monsters that are just mythomaniacs and make up these stories to get attention, to get out of things,
ever correcting them.
get over on people or manipulate. That is where it starts. They tell these little lies when they're little, and we don't ever check them. We just let them go.
So no one's ever correcting them.
Correct.
Let me ask this question. So what if you do correct, but instead of them stopping the lying, they become better at lying.
Okay, so then we see the second portion of what I just said. This is where we go into what did it say? A narcissistic personality, borderline personality, impulsivity, bipolar.
Yeah.
Okay,
Tell them to get your baby checked out.
Now we're talking about medical conditions,
Correct.
right? That a person can be not only diagnosed with, but possibly
okay.
medicated for
Correct.
as well.
Correct.
So like just to change this off in a little bit. Okay, so like okay, so I heard this from, I can't remember who I heard this from. It was on Instagram. It was MJ he's some public figure. But he said never he said if you find your if you catch your partner cheating, never tell them that you caught them cheating. Because you tell them you tell them that you caught them cheating. When you tell them you caught them cheating, you just you tell them that you caught them cheating, and then you accept it. You accept hold on. You accept it. You accept them back. You accept them back. You just the only thing you're doing is just teaching them how to cheat better the next time.
Oh, okay. I see what
So
you're saying.
it's teaching them how to cheat. So it's teaching them how to lie better.
Okay.
That's one way of thinking about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Me personally, in my previous, and my wife and I, we've been together since I was 15. We grew up together. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So to say that I haven't done a thing or two, and this is before we were in the space that we're in now, where we can like sit down and actually talk about what it looks like engaging the company of other people. This is just all upstairs, right? I can honestly say that me lying to my significant other, because she is a Black woman, I felt like was, and I say Black woman for a reason. I felt like that was only a diminishing of her feminine, natural, innate ability to just know when something isn't right. And we've kind of worked on these things together, she and I, as we grew up to where we are now. And I have this thing with her where it's like I tell her, whenever you're ready to have a conversation, I talk about something, whether it be heavy or not, that I'm here. You know, I'm always willing to talk, you know, and I'm always willing to have the conversation with you. And should we have the conversation, baby, we're going to talk about it all. Right. I don't want to lie to you because my woman is a very sensitive woman. But sensitive, not so much. She's a Cancer, so not so much as like emotional. Yeah, although it is there, that's neither here nor there. She's sensitive in the extent to where she can pick up on a lot of things that most people would either wash over or overlook. And because she's so sensitive, I want to keep her sensitive to the extent I want to keep her instrument sensitive. So that's her mind, that's her ears, that's all of her senses that she uses to decipher what is or isn't a good person, or is or isn't a good situation, or what have you. So I try my best not to take away from her innate ability just to discern by being honest. I mean, you know, if there was somebody who I was into or that I was feeling, or a vibe that she picked up on between me and somebody, even though she and I ain't talked about it yet, you know, if she come in, if she pulls me to the side, or if we're having a conversation and it comes up, I have this thing, I tell her the truth. I just would rather tell her the truth than comfort her with lies. And because I respect this person, I don't gain anything from lying to her consistently, consecutively. And then and then me, right? I'm not good at lies, at least to the extent of how Big Daddy is. You know, I just rather be honest. That me lying and how it affects my ability just to vibrate, my natural vibration. It does a thing to me that even as a kid, I wasn't a good liar. I learned how to lie out of necessity as opposed to lying just for convenience. You know, survival and so on. Those things are a little bit different. However, for me, I try my best to make sure that I am as open and as transparent as I can be with my significant other. So if my significant other was to cheat or whatever, I don't believe that I would pull her to the side and be like, hey, I caught you cheating, because you never reveal your sources, right? I'm not going to tell you how I know, but I am going to tell you that I know, in hopes that there's something that we can talk about, have a conversation, and get to the root of why we're here. I care more about the why than the what, right? You cheating, cool. It's going to happen. Whether it's emotional, whether it's physical, because I plan to spend the rest of my life with this person, I'm open or are realistic to the fact that there are going to be other people who are attracted to you, that you are attracted to, as far as other people are concerned. I don't think that I am my wife's ideal type, right? Because that changes. It's changed since we were teenagers. Now we're in our 30s. It's changed every decade or so. That's growth, and I love that for her. You know what I mean? So just keep it honest. That's how I feel. Just keep it honest, keep it transparent, but just making sure that there isn't room for lack. I wouldn't want my significant other cheating on me because of a thing that I'm not able to provide. And if that thing, whether it be safety, security, emotional security, whatever falls under the umbrella of security or safety for my partner, I rather just, or even if it's just, the sex is fizzled out. We've been together for so many years. We got 4 kids. We got all these kids. There's a lot that comes with not only long-term relationships, but being someone's significant other, and then being someone's parent, and being someone's, yeah. So that's where I'm at with it.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I do.
Yeah.
I do. And the thing is with that as well, just so listeners understand, your dynamic of your relationship is different.
Yeah.
That stated before, your relationship, if you want to dip into that a little bit more. So
sure, yeah.
Your relationship, y'all are open.
We're open idealistically. My marriage is very much so closed.
Okay.
It is not open for intruders. It is not open for passersby. It's open idealistically, meaning should she and I want to entertain the company of someone else, regardless of how other people, because we know how monogamy is, right? Like in many confines of monogamy, it's usually you and me and us together, nobody else. And hey, that's cool, if that works for people. My wife and I, we've been in a very queer relationship long before we ever really knew we were in one. And we kind of just had to pick up the because we got together so young, right? I didn't have a keen sense of self at 15 in the ways that I do at 33, right? And as I've grown to know a little bit more about myself, the different dynamics of relationships, because as a kid, hell, all I knew is I was gonna date this girl and we was gonna get married and we was gonna have kids and house with the picket fence and the dog and all those things that seem very cliche now. Back then it was like the goal. And I had only known or had the chance to engage with myself so much, being pansexual, right? I've been myself my whole life, but still trying to fit into boxes that didn't quite suit my perspective. So living my life through the eyes of other people, and then being in this relationship with this imperfect person from a completely different background, right? And trying to figure out what love looks like for us, what family looks like for us, and whether that be quality time. And this is before we even had kids. So, we was together for a minute before. Our first kid came at 24 for me. So we kind of had a little bit of time to get it wrong, have some arguments. We went through college together and had the whole long nights of arguing and having class at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. Jesus. And we went through a lot of those throws without kids, and I'm thankful for that. But what comes with it is self-identity, self-awareness, and being aware of yourself within the confines of a committed relationship. I'm very much so committed to my wife. In the time frame of us being married, I got married at 21, which is 2011. We had our first kid at 24, which was 2014. But somewhere in between that mix, I joined the military. I was in there for about a decade. So that added another layer of WTF, right? Because now we're talking about rotations, deployment, field exercises, and it was a lot. It's a lot. That decade really whooped my ass. So much so to the extent that where I have truly disconnected from a lot of ideals. I had to relearn and retrain my brain on a lot of things. Not only getting out of the military, but how I saw myself as a Black man in America, and what I could be if I believed in my own story. That has its own subsection. I don't want to dig too deep in that unless y'all want to go there, and that's fine. But I believe in my own story in the extent to where, I believe in my power. I believe in my ability to love in the ways that I love, being in a monogamous relationship and learning that there are other relationship styles out there that doesn't disgrace or discredit your partner. You know, a lot of times we think, oh, you cheating on me because you don't love me or you don't love yourself. And in many cases, it's not necessarily, it's not the same for everyone. You know, I have the capacity to love in the way that I think is kind of out of date now, you know, with a lot of folks. Love is a thing for me that I hark on a lot. And growing up, growing older, seeing different styles of love making, right? And just sharing love, you know, platonically as friends and so on and so forth. That experience for me has been a pleasant one. It's been riddled with bullshit too. Now, don't get me wrong, but it's been a pleasant one. So much so to the extent to where it has bled into my bedroom, so to where I want to be open to the possibility that should a vibe come along that I am interested in, and for my wife. So it's not just one-sided. It's not just me having my cake eating it too, right? My wife, should she be interested? But she and I, we are both very picky people. And I think it's good when you know your person. Let me know if I'm talking too much. But I think it's good when you know your person, right? I know my person very well. And she and I, we are very picky people when it comes to energy, and very picky people when it comes to engaging. My wife, she's a very heterosexual woman, right? She's a very heterosexual woman who has a particular type for a particular type of man. You know, she likes men, and anything that deviates from that in men who are engaged with the feminine side. She jokingly says it all the time. She said, I like my man with a little bit of to him. Being funny, right? With a little bit of a little sweetness to him. And I just so happen to fit the bill. Who knows? You know, I think so. But you know, growing up together, it wasn't always like that for her. You know, she had her ideas of what the perfect man was, or what she would want her man to be, and same with me and me as a partner. You know, I became an adult and realized, okay, maybe I would date a man, or maybe I would engage in a healthy long-term relationship with anyone, regardless of their genitals. I had a lot of growing up to do. You know, I was from the hood, so there's a lot of psychology that goes on there. How I had to retrain and relearn and pivot on a lot of things that caused me either self-harm or strain within my own upstairs understanding of my world. So yeah. So that's where my wife and I, that's where we are. It sounds like some hippie shit, but our bedroom is very much so close. And we ain't out here fucking on any and everybody. Like, no. And should we decide to go through that process, that is a process, right? Because we value our health, not only mentally and emotionally, but we value our physical health. You know, physical health is a big thing for us. So testing, regularly scheduled testing, routine, just counseling. You know, we do psychological counseling, physical therapy, things like that. Just being healthy adults. I think that's really where we are. So regardless of a label, right? Whatever it looks like, we're just really into being really present, healthy adults, not only for ourselves, right? With each other and for these kids who look up to us for guidance, leadership. So I don't want to teach my kids things from my trauma, right? I want to teach my kids from my healed, more thoughtful self. So that's kind of where we are. Yeah. It was like 30 minutes of just straight speech. And I know the people listening, they're gonna be like, oh my God, with this man. Wilkie, please shut up.
It definitely was a lot.
But I mean, at least you know that, you know, now we're especially with Ms. V educating us, like, you know, about the pathology of what is it? What's it called? Lying, or what's that word? That myth word? Say it for me again.
Mythomania.
Mythomania. So now you can put stuff in the context now as you're educating your kids.
Oh, for sure. Listen, so I'm a nurse by trade, and I'm looking for all of those. When I went through nursing school twice, once as a medic and another time as an actual nurse through the Army. It was all accelerated programs, but all in all, I was in there trying to learn as much as I could, right? Because if any of these things affected any of my people, whether it was my patient or the people that I assisted with life, right? Then, you know, I need them to be squared away. I told y'all for the longest, I thought my kid, you know, was on the spectrum because there was certain social emotional deficits that wasn't being quantized by the individuals who were testing my kids. It's like, yeah, my kids are smart, but like there are things that are missing that I don't want to glaze over because I'm a parent that cares. Right. So yeah.
But yeah. I don't know. I just never understood when it came to lying about. I don't know. It just for me when it comes to lying about anything, it just to me it just never made sense. Especially when it comes from adults. I mean, when it comes to careers or anything like that, when it comes to anything that's gonna help you progress, yes,
Yeah.
go ahead, do it.
Yeah, because I'm about to say we all
Do it.
collectively
Do it.
lie. We make a
I
conscious.
was a financial aid advisor for years, and they never do the shit, and that has helped me out in careers.
Okay. You know, that's why I say like we all collectively lie to a degree, but
Right.
I think where it becomes where it's like it's a problem where you create these situations to where it's almost it's almost, you know, it I don't even know the proper word I want to
When you're
use. Like
when you're harming people around you with your lies,
there you go.
when other people
Yeah.
around you are affected by the lies that you're telling, when other people are around you have to feed in with your lies, there's an issue.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
when you are lying to people that don't know you, there's an issue.
Well, now I see when people, I can see that. I can see both sides of the coin in that, especially with people who you don't know. And the reason being is because that can honestly come from, especially unhealed trauma, unhealed situation. I can see where, okay, for example, I'm in this new city, I'm in this new town, and I want to leave my past behind me, you know, to a degree. So I kind of gotta, you know, hey,
Like the
yeah, I, huh?
like the strays,
Not quite. Not that
not like
movie. But that there's a perfect movie. I don't know if either one of y'all have seen the movie Strays on Netflix. Please watch it. When I,
Okay.
Oh yes, with the lady, the crazy lady. Yes,
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 yeah.
yes.
yes.
Her
Yes.
I'm the only one. Damn.
however, her situation was not necessarily an unsolicited lie. She had in the story, hold on, she had to lie in order to start her life over from what she felt was an abusive, you know, beginning. Even though it harmed two children in the past, she still had to do it. So that's how I can see in a situation where it's like, okay, yeah, you kind of gotta, you know, to give yourself a chance because who wants to go to a new city, new beginning, and potentially a new partner, and you know, you got to start. You have to start off
Let's
with.
play this game. Let's play this game.
That's what you do. Oh, because that's what she. Oh, so in the
That's
movie.
what you did.
I'm sorry, y'all got to watch it because
Play
I
this
tell y'all.
game.
I'm
So
the only one who hasn't seen it. So
I'm mad that he's doing that. I'm mad
I
that
know,
that was
right?
the part that he remembered. I'm mad that that's the part that he feels like he needs to reenact.
Listen, I promise
The rest of the movie, that's the
I'm
part
telling
that you
you,
want to see.
girl, I'm telling you, he was making a noise. I looked, I was like, the fuck is in my house? Like, I was gonna close this down for real and leave. Like, all right, y'all, I see y'all later.
it's
Bye.
been fun.
She threw up and immediately snapped. She immediately snapped.
You know what?
Yes.
Let me go get my purse. I'm gonna go get him some change and I'm gone. Baby got her purse, her coat, and hopped on the back of that moped and was gone. Deuces. And
As soon as everybody started acting crazy, it's time for me to go.
Yeah, she
I
was
get
like,
it.
I'm out.
And
Okay.
while I don't agree, I totally get it because I don't want to bring all this old baggage with me into this new relationship, especially now I wouldn't leave no children behind, but I don't want to bring all that old baggage. But shut up.
Believe children.
Shut up, Chucky. Like like I just don't want to do that. But I get that lying at some point is gonna catch up with you.
So I have a question. So on the flip side of that, how do
Mhm.
you all feel about someone who is honest? Like they tell you the truth, what's up all the time. Like
I value
situationally, no matter what, they gonna give you the real.
I value that, but I also value because I'm an honest person.
Me too.
I value that, but I also value you more if you can be honest with me without trying to hurt me.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
Because it's people who intentionally, like you can tell me, double dose, you losing a lot of weight. Whereas some people, I ain't gonna say names, you look like you on that shit. Like,
What did I tell you? What did I tell you? When you was right here in my house. What did I tell you? You look dusty.
You look dusty. Like you
look dusty. You look like you like 3 sheets away from about to. You look like you're about to die. You need to go to the doctor.
You ain't saying no damn doctor. You said you go put some lotion on. Go put some conditioner in your hair.
Go to my bathroom. I got some olive olay.
Exactly. All this stuff.
You got a man. You got a man. Look cute for somebody.
He like my gray ass. So
I'm not saying honesty into where I'm gonna beat you up with it. I'm just saying honest. And would you believe that someone would be honest under all circumstances? It doesn't matter what situation you put them in, they are still going to be. This person is notorious for telling the truth, even to their detriment.
I feel as though there's only 2 things you're going to do. You're going to cuss me out or try to beat my ass. There's only 2 things you're going to do. You're going to cuss me out or try to beat my ass. And there's only one of those things you're going to be able to do is cuss me out.
Or love you. That's what I do.
There's only one of those things you're going to be able to do is cuss me out. And then when you cuss me out, and I know you're going to be able to do that because I can't curse.
Oh God. Me personally, I don't think I have.
I can put cuss words together, but the thing is, when it comes back to me trying to cuss you out, they ain't gonna come together right. And I know me, they're not gonna come together right. And the words ain't gonna come back because when I curse in my mind, I'm thinking about them. When it's time for me to cuss you back out, you elephant giraffe looking motherfucker, it ain't gonna come out that way. It ain't gonna come out. Now when I'm a stutter, and then we'll be stuck.
We all gonna be stuck. We all gonna be stuck right in the middle of that argument. Just loading.
I see. I'm a peacemaker. So I'm gonna try. Let's try to find the least disruptive route we can go with all of this, and without I don't want you to take what I'm saying with anger or hurt. And so I go above and beyond to try to make sure that no matter what I say, I'm saying my words with honey and not trying to.
Right. There's a tactful way to do everything.
Yeah.
When you lead
get me in trouble at work, get me in trouble at home, I have no tact at all.
You do not have any
tactless.
And and the thing is, I'm so used to him, it just rolls off my back like duck feathers.
I'm not, because when he do stuff and he say stuff, I'll be like,
right. You see me? I'll be like,
and you see my face, I just be like,
I know.
You gotta build an immune. You gotta build an immune.
After I say it, double dose, she'll catch me, and then she'll be like, Jay, you didn't have to say it like that. And I'll go back and I'll be like, I apologize for the way that I said it, but I meant what I said, but I apologize for the way that it came out. I didn't mean it that way.
One thing I've always been firm on is, and I have to let my boyfriend know, because remember I told you, Miss V, he can be mean.
Right.
But I had to tell him, like, hey, it's not what you say to me, it's how you say to me. I got feelings.
Yeah.
And because it was one day he, I forgot what we was talking about, and he got his bass in his voice got a little deeper, and he was like, well, why would you think that? I'm like, why are you making that face? I said, because you talking to me, you talking down to me, and I don't like that.
I'm gonna need you to take that bass out your voice.
Right.
It's my tone. My tone. I never know when my tone changes.
Yeah.
And I don't mean anything by it. And then my tone just changed. I'm like, and it gets me in trouble all the time with my husband because it's like your tone, and I'm like, ain't nothing wrong with my tone. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
You don't hear what we hear.
Right.
And that's the thing that like and that's why this is why I go above and beyond to try to make sure that I'm saying stuff correctly. I try to hone in because I know I have a history of when I say something, well, you just think you can talk to anybody on kind of way. I didn't say it any kind of way. Yes, you did. And I just play back and I'm like, could I have said that better? What way could I have said it? Because the whole point of it is I want whatever it is I'm telling you, I want you to receive what I'm saying in the spirit that I'm giving it into you. I can't be like, hey man, I'm warning you if you keep doing like this, but it's coming off with you dumb, blah blah blah, blah motherfucker. Like it's coming off like that, and it's like that's not my intent. My intent is to warn you to save you.
That's a different level of self-awareness. You're aware of what you're doing.
I am a lot better. I am a lot better than I am. I am a lot better now than I was my first husband. My first husband, I was like a knife. I was like a knife.
Knife.
I believe that.
I was like a knife. I was mean. I was mean. And the thing is, I didn't realize it until I got divorced. My mom told me, my sister told me, everybody told me, and I did not realize it until I got divorced. When I got divorced, and everybody replayed back to me the things that I used to say, the things that I used to tell him, and everything else like that. And then I can tell you one day I rolled over in bed, and I asked him, why do you smell like goat cheese? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why the fuck do you smell like fucking goat cheese? And I was like, did you wash your ass today? And it just came right out my mouth. And the thing is I think about it now, and there's so many other ways that I could have said that. So many other ways that I could have said that. But when I rolled over in bed, is literally how it came out. But the thing is that, and I replayed it after we got divorced. And it's like, you know what? I was the problem. I literally was the problem. I was mean. I was literally mean every single day we were married. But then it took me to go in therapy afterwards to realize I didn't even like him. Well, I married him and could not stand his guts at all. Like, I literally hated him every single day. And that's the reason why I was so mean. And then, like, when we go to this is how it ties into the lying. I lied every single day. Lied with the I love yous, lied with the everything. Like, literally looked at him every single day and hated his guts. Lied every single day. I was when I say downright mean. The day that we got married, I was pissy drunk. I got the justice of the peace drunk.
Yes, he did.
I believe it. I'm just like, what?
I was in the kitchen doing what I do best, cooking.
Yes.
Not kitchen doing what I do best.
You know what I walked down the aisle on? What was it was a rap song. It was a rap song.
I just remember we were standing there and I got distracted by the dogs. Sorry. The dogs
the dogs were humping. The dogs started humping because we got married in the living room.
The dogs started humping.
It was a rap.
I feel like it was a hot mess. That's what I feel like. I feel like it was like a whole hot mess.
It's given hot mess.
It was a whole hot mess. It was a whole hot mess, and my shirt said "Turn up."
I'm not judging because listen, my wife and I, we Miss BK taking over there.
We had so much fun.
Oh my god!
We served everybody just for the peace. Like she's still a riot to this day. Like,
good. I'm glad y'all got the right person because
right. My wife and I, we got married in the middle of the week on a Wednesday. and it's what worked for us. So I can't, no judgment. We got married at like this restaurant called like the Lobster Shanty in Vero Beach, Florida. It was awesome. It was nice.
Not even red.
Hmm?
Not Red Lobster.
No, it was the
Oh,
Lobster
that's
Shanty.
insane.
See, they had like a pier and a dock, and it was overlooking some water. And it was kind of last minute. My wife and I, we were just going to get married at the courthouse and call it good, because our union was more about us than it was about anything else. But yeah, so no judgment, man. Y'all got married in the living room. All right, shit. But I see that didn't pan out well for you. How do you remember? Do you remember? No judgment. Do you remember your vows by chance?
There was no vow.
There wasn't no vow.
What the justice of the peace say? What?
It was what she had in her notary book.
Right.
The same book that I got.
It was what she had in notary book, but the thing is, she dropped the notary book because she was drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is not the most romantical wedding ever. This is just this is a nice living room wedding, and with the people that love them, that was surrounding them, and that was it. Like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds great.
But we learned something. We learned something, and here we are. Fast forward all these years.
I learned.
Well, that's good. Sometimes it takes us going through a lot of BS to get us to a spot where life forces us to learn. So even with me and lying, man, let me tell you, I've always been a really crappy liar. In my personal opinion, I've always been a crappy liar. I think that just has a lot to do with the fact that a lot like my oldest son, like you were saying, Double Dose, he would lie just to not get in trouble or to avoid or evade trouble. It was convenient lies, and I peeped that very early on in his development, and I was like, "Listen, son, just be truthful with me," because he and we have very similar energies, at least to the extent that where we're cut from the same cloth. His lies suck. I can call him out. I mean, will he get better at lying? Well, with hope, he will, because in this world, you got to learn. You got to learn duality, and I hope for my son's intersectionality. Does that make sense? Like, I want my sons to be able to not only exist in a space where they are represented, but also exist in a space where they aren't. And I know that might sound wild, but I like for my kids to have enough intersectionality where they don't look down their noses at other people's situations. Right? You got your own front door to sweep up type. So, but yeah, my oldest son, he can't lie for shit.
I'm not gonna tell on myself too much, because you never know who's watching or listening.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna tell on myself too much, but I'm not gonna say I'm a bad liar, but I'm also not gonna say I'm the best liar. I just know what I know, and I can do what I can do. But I willfully choose to be consistently honest. Because
yeah,
I'm a person. I don't know.
Make herself believe her lies before she tell the lie.
Say what?
She make herself believe her lies before she tell the lie.
Okay, that's the route you want to go.
She does. She practices it. She practices her lies to make herself believe it before she tells the lie.
Why? Because I grew up in a very loving home, but I grew up in a strict home, and so I knew if the last lie didn't work, okay, let me figure out let me tell the truth right now. Keep telling the truth. How can I make this believable?
Practice it on me first.
Huh?
She practiced it on me first.
Well, no, I would practice it on my brother. I'll practice it on my brother.
You practice the lies on me first, and then I'll be like, yeah, that sounds right.
I promise you, it made it to my brothers first, and then it came to you, because you're a neutral party. You didn't live with us, and if you didn't get past you, if I could feel like, he probably lying anyway, so he probably don't believe it. So I know I can give it to my parents and be like, okay, da 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 da, and then if I can slide some tears in there, I'm good.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, the best lie I told, me and Double Dose, we was driving back home from work one day, And I told this lie for the longest. And literally, I told this lie all the way up until we was grown.
Oh God.
We were
Oh, you
driving
tried
back
to kill
from
me,
work.
you son of a bitch.
We were driving back from work one day. And my mama told me I had to make the car payment. And I was like, man, I really want to keep this car payment money. And and then she said, you better make that car payment. I ain't want to keep the car. I want to keep the car payment money. So I had this idea. I can just crash the car. And that's why I can keep the car payment money.
Tried to kill me.
Me and Double Dose riding back, and it was raining. And I was like, yes, I can just pull the emergency brake. And I pulled the emergency brake. And I ain't tell Double Dose. And I was like, yeah, this gonna work. Pulled the emergency brake, car spun around 3 times on the highway, hit the guardrail, hit the guardrail twice. Double Dose have an asthma attack. I'm like, yes, this gonna work. It's gonna work.
Cause guess who left her asthma and her inhaler at home?
She had an asthma attack. Ambulance and everything came.
The ambulance had to give me a little fast so I can breathe. I was terrified because I was like, the fuck? And we was just going like no problem.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wasn't even hitting the brake. I was hitting the floor next to the brake. I said, the car won't stop. The car won't stop.
All of a sudden we just started spinning. I was like, the fuck?
That sounds like some Final Destination shit. And let me tell you, as a kid that grew up in the 90s watching Final Destination, baby, I will never drive in a car with you just because. Just because. Let me tell you.
I will ride behind you in my car.
Absolutely. We can convoy. We can convoy. We'll do that.
Because I don't know what you're thinking. And the fact that now that I know that you have thoughts inside your head that are majorly reckless,
yes. Listen, you didn't give a damn about Double Dose in her life, baby. What the fuck you gonna give about mine now, baby? But I'm glad we're having this conversation.
We were
having this conversation.
We were in high school when this happened. We were working at. Remember, it was the party store.
It was the party store.
Oh, that makes sense. We all made dumbass decisions.
I didn't want to pay the car payment, and I wanted to keep the money.
Mm-hmm.
Did you end up having the? I need to know results. Did you end up having to pay the car payment? Did the gap insurance cover the car?
Wayne, that's not even the important question. Ask this motherfucker if he had license. He like this. Hold on, wait a minute. He's shaking like a leaf on a fucking tree trying to pull out his ID. This bitch ain't have a license. I had a learner's permit. He lied and said he had his license. But guess what? The police officer, it was so funny. The police officer was like, why are you shaking, son? I'm trying to find my license. He said, you can't find your license because you only have a Florida State ID already checked. I'm sitting here with the mask on my face. I'm like, bitch, is you for real? Driving with an ID card, a ID card with the red, when it used to be the red stripe across the
yeah.
That ain't the best part. The best part was
it gets worse.
Yes, the best part was I was driving us this entire time in high school with an ID card.
With an ID card. Ain't know it.
That's not the best part. We graduated in 2008. I didn't get a driver's license 2014.
All I want to know is, what did your mama do when she found out you wrecked that car?
Let's hear this.
Oh, nothing. We had insurance, so it just
No. How did the insurance cover somebody who didn't have a driver's license?
Because the car was in my name. They let me buy the car with the ID card.
Yeah, you can. No. Hold on. Former DMV employee stepping in. You can buy a car with an ID card. You don't need a driver's license to purchase a car. You just need.
And it was insured under my mama's insurance.
You don't even need an ID card. You can have a birth certificate and a social security card, passport and a social security card, or immigrant documentation. You can buy a car. All they want to make sure is that your check clear, your debit card work, and the cash is real. That's all they care about.
Okay,
and that's from a former DMV employee.
And it was financed.
Okay. So from the great state of Texas, we don't play them kind of games.
No, God.
It happened, and you
uninsured motorists.
you don't have a driver's license, everybody going to jail.
Everybody going to jail, baby.
They do not play them games. I'm trying to figure out how you got out of jail.
Wild. This is part of the reason
I went home.
Florida is wild, baby. Florida is wild. You can do a lot of shit here.
I grew up in South Florida. It's some wild shit. It's some wild shit.
Home.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a lot. Yeah,
I went
home. His mom picked us up off the side of the road and to drop me off at home. Dropped me off at home, and they went on home.
Miss V, you look like me right now. We both stressed.
Listen.
My mind can't even
process.
Hold up.
You broke her. You broke Miss V. You broke Miss V. I hope you're happy.
Hold up.
Because I've been programmed by. Once you're programmed by Texas, because Texas is its own country.
I tell people that all the time.
Once you're programmed by Texas to believe that things are the way that they are and things go the certain way, when people tell you stories like this, it's like outside of
that's not the best part.
Realism, it's not reality.
That's not the best part of the whole story.
There's more best parts because you didn't tell me two best parts already.
The next week I went and bought a brand new Ford Taurus.
Was it the Ford Taurus? I thought it was that little Leaf car.
It was. No, it was the Nissan.
Yeah, that's what it was. That little
Nissan Versa.
That's what it was. Yeah. It wasn't the one with the sedan. It was the hatchback.
It had a hatchback.
Yep.
It was a hatchback.
Listen. My mom had fussed at me. She was like, y'all riding around being dangerous and all this other stuff. She fussed.
Right.
Child, he pulled up at school in that little Nissan Versa. I said, I'm gone, bye. I hopped
Wait, you hopped right in after the last fiasco.
But the thing is,
asthma attack and all. Your ass was ready to ride.
Hold up, listen.
He literally almost died. You almost died.
Hold up.
I'm weak.
Y'all don't understand. She did not realize that car accident was on purpose until like 2 years ago.
Exactly. That was the
That's not the point. The point is that this fool can't drive. You don't know that he did it on purpose. So by your standards, this fool can't drive. He don't have a driver's license.
That's two.
Almost died.
That's three. That's the biggest one.
Handle the trauma of him not being able to drive. He pulls up in front of the school, and you take your tail right back in the car.
I'm gone.
Bye. I'm gone. Look at here in the front passenger seat at that. Bye, y'all. I'm gone.
Airbags already deployed.
Look at here, seatbelt on. I got my book bag in front of me. Where we finna go at? We finna go beach.
But did you make sure your inhaler was with you? You had
that's what I want to.
My inhaler and my little mini first aid kit. I put it right in there. I wasn't playing. I called my mom. Mama, I'm riding in the car with Chucky. Oh, okay. All right, you ain't got no homework? Nope, I'm good. Okay.
Baby had her albuterol.
I mean, everything ready to go. Just in case.
And I told him, I said, hey man, I got to be home my mama said I got to be home by 10 o'clock. He used to play. He got me home. He was like, you riding with Jay, ain't you? Chucky, ain't you? Yep, 10:45, me pulling up. Mama, we ran out of gas. Child, get out my face. It got to the point where I couldn't even make excuses no more. It got to the point where I couldn't even.
Mama, I made it alive this time, okay? Let's just be grateful that I made it home alive.
I'm alive. And
you know what?
The real thing is, as long as we stop by my house to say hey to them when I got out of school, all right, bye y'all. All right, where y'all finna go? Well, we finna go ride and go pick up so-and-so. Oh, okay, all right. All right, be in this house by before it get too late. Okay.
Yep.
Remember that one time we pulled in at 2 a.m.? She didn't even turn over and look at me.
That sounds a lot like me and my best friend. I can't say her name, but a lot like me and my best friend. We grew up in very similar dynamics. Her family knew my family. It was all just good love. You know what I mean? We're still best friends to this day. And I was the only guy. They probably thought I was gay as hell. I was the only guy that was allowed to go in her bedroom.
Miss B talking about
Well, because you gotta so time and place, right? We're talking about we all graduated. Well, y'all graduated 2008, and so did I. So with my best friend, and this was Florida, right? Mm-hmm. So my best friend, her family knew my family, and we had all met very young. I was the only guy that could go into her room. I was the only guy that could come over, hang out with her grandma, would be on the computer. This is like early YouTube days, y'all. This is back when Beyonce fell going down the stairs, and she was like, "Please don't put this on YouTube." She was wearing that red joint. I'm telling you, this is how early in YouTube. By the way, YouTube owes Beyonce. YouTube owes Beyonce everything, because after Beyonce fell down them stairs, everybody, because at the time we all ran to YouTube. That's when views became a thing. That's when likes became a thing. It wasn't a thing before that. YouTube was just streaming. So I just want to say that, because after Beyonce fell, baby, YouTube owe Beyonce a lot, because it is the platform that it is today because of its ability to share those videos. And this, I mean, we was watching puppy videos and shit on the computer, or gymnasts falling. It was just all good fun. You know, this is back when kids were kids. Well, I was a kid and we were kids. But anyway, I was like the only guy that could go into her room. So we had a similar relationship. She's the godmother of my kids and everything, y'all. Like, it's dope. I'm telling you. Anyway, I know the relationship is what I'm saying.
He was supposed to go in my room. That's the thing. He was not supposed to come in my room with me. He still went in there.
I don't think I was supposed to go in my friend's room, but I was the only boy that could go in the room. And if the door was closed, it wasn't a problem.
It was always a problem.
Well, but let me say, and I just want to say,
it was always a problem. I was sitting there, we ain't doing nothing but looking at shoes and clothes.
Well, our family knew each other as well. We wasn't in there looking at shoes and clothes, but we were working on things. You know, she liked to sing and stuff, and there were times we were
on the chat line, honey. We weren't doing none of that shit. We were on the chat line, calling on me and me. That's what we were doing.
Well, you see, and that's probably why your hot ass couldn't go in the room with her, Chucky. Because me and my friend...
No.
They didn't know that. They didn't know
that. Let me tell you something.
I had my own phone line and I had a cell phone. So they really...
If you grew up in the home of a Black woman, baby, I assure you, they knew something. No. And I can't say they knew everything, but I think it just is an ode to how much their family trusted me with their daughter, you know, with their kid, because you know her grandma, sweet lady, you know what I mean. So it's one of those things. So homegrown, young, you know, they probably thought I was gay as hell, but I say that only because time and place. We in the hood, and I didn't present.
Keep raising, Miss V.
I didn't present. Well, so
her eyebrows gonna be in her hair. every time he said they thought I was gay as hell.
But if you notice, it's always in hindsight that I'm saying it. In those times, I didn't see myself in the ways that I am okay with seeing myself now. So when you hear me make those statements, it's coming from a place of, I didn't think about that before this moment. Maybe there was a reason I was the only boy allowed in her room. You know, like they say hindsight is always 20/20, but I don't know. Regardless, her family still loves me, and they never treated me differently. They love my kids. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I don't know. I don't know what pansexuality looks like on a kid outside of me. You know.
Hold on, wait a minute. I gotta do this.
Oh God, go and get your pan. And if it ain't a cast iron skillet, I don't want to see it double dose.
Okay, so for those of us who don't know, explain pansexuality.
Geez, I think. So this is my. Is it cast iron? Let me see the back.
It looks like it's non-stick.
No. See, that's probably lined. See, it's probably lined with Teflon. No, ma'am.
It's Dollar General, so it's not.
In that case, it's definitely lined with Teflon.
It's cheapo.
No, ma'am.
This is $2 payday.
Let me tell you, the plumbing does not work for cheap hardware. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Are you sure? Wait a minute.
That ma'am, I am so disgusted to think that not you licking the
So it's crazy. Not crazy, but crazy.
capital K. Capital K. Gee whiz.
I'm sorry, and I apologize for
No,
saying
you're
that
fine.
during the podcast, but I was like, oh no, we got to do this.
You have my complete permission to do that any and every time it comes up. Okay, just so we clear. I think it's awesome. What is pansexuality? I gotta tell you. So, I didn't learn much about pansexuality until I was comfortable enough with myself to admit that I was at the very least bisexual. Because gay wasn't it, right? Okay. Like gay just didn't fit. Growing up in the hood, as it relates to being a kid, right? And this isn't, I'm not talking like a person like that's a fully functional adult. I'm talking about as a kid in the hood. If you didn't play football or the sports, so basketball, what have you, if you wasn't out living a particular level of street life, which I wasn't, I can't say that I was a sheltered kid, but you know, I was in the house. Right. I was in the house, but those were the type of parents that I had, right? Because I was born in Alabama, you know, a percent of my raising there, and then I was really raised in South Florida. So once I got to South Florida, those Southern down home principles still followed me, right? So my parents are still my authoritative figure, and as it relates to them, there was no slumber parties. We not, you know, you home before the street lights come on type. Right. And this is back when you could let your kids go out, but I mean I'm in the hood, so you know you still take a gamble in time. Your kid go out straight bullet, ain't got nobody name on it. So it was always that nature of this is what my childhood looked like as it relates to going outside. So, you know, I didn't learn much about pansexuality just because I was always seen as, or rather, I felt as though I was seen as or treated as a gay kid as opposed to a queer kid. And people don't realize that there is a difference, right? Because queer is the umbrella that encompasses all, as opposed to gay speaking to specifically a lane that includes a plethora of beautiful men who should be honored in their lane as it relates to what applies to them. You know, their stories, their impact, their impression on the world, and civilizations, because it's not just Western civilization that gay people exist in, right? You know, their contribution to society is astronomical, and I feel like they should get their flowers and be championed for that. You know what I'm saying? Just as well as everyone not be labeled gay, right? I feel like that's an insult to the community. Just because there are men who are openly gay and love their queerness as it relates to them being gay, and they live in their truth, and we see it so much now. I mean, as a kid, I didn't see it. I don't know my job. I ain't see it so much, but like as we see it now. I
actually saw transgender when I was a kid.
Really?
And I actually saw men in drag and whatnot.
I did see men in drag. I remember going to high school.
That was out east in Jacksonville. Like
I see that.
Was good. So to see it even then, it was like, okay, you know.
I remember they had to change in my school, they had to change the dress code because we had boys as I was phasing out of high school. So this is coming up on 2006, 2007, and then me graduating 2008, right? There were boys wearing heels to school. That was a thing. For me, that was very fucking progressive because again, I grew up in the hood. But you see, the hood is a mentality, and this is what I be trying to get people to understand. We don't have to go there, but at any rate, so yes, I didn't see it a whole lot, but I was always treated as a guy who only liked guys, even as it relates to me having relationships with men in the now. You know, a lot of men don't see that. Though I'm attracted to men, that don't mean I'm attracted to you.
Right.
But moreover, if I were attracted to you in the beginning of this, that's not a constant. It's not a love you forever type of situation. Like, no, like that's not life for too much of anybody. Why would that apply here? That's crazy. But as far as pansexuality goes, this is the thing that I kind of learned as I grew, as I got to know myself and asked myself some really hard questions. I did a lot of shadow work, right? Where I asked myself a lot of questions, not only about my childhood and what have you. And once I got out of my own way of seeing gender as this confined thing or construct of who we have to be, right? And just really lean more on the who are we as it relates to nature, you know? Um, I am actually okay with being me as a pansexual guy. I'm okay with being in a romantic, sexual, or platonic relationship with anyone of any gender identity. You know,
So
it doesn't.
what is a pansexual? Because you
Um,
still have not answered that for me.
yeah, I know. I'm trying to.
What is a pansexual?
You have to give me a little grace because my influence is kicking in, and I give me just a little grace, a little grace. Um,
From
I
from
mean,
my
just in short, open to all. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Open
Mm-hmm.
to all. That's just really the
yeah,
short
'cause
and quick
from
because
my
Pan
from my
speaks
under
on all. You know.
Yeah,
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Jay.
it was always explained to me that pansexual was someone that not necessarily look at the physical of the person or is
Yeah.
attracted to the physical. They're attracted to the mind, their personality, and things like that. That was what was explained to me.
Yeah.
My very first time coming across somebody who identified as pan.
Yeah.
So they could, yes, that I could be. And actually, a friend of mine that I went to school with, she's pan. She identifies as pan. Um, so, and when I met her, she was hetero, and then she went through her own seasoning where it's like
Yeah.
I feel more connected to pansexuality, and she and I had a private conversation, and was like, hey, I feel, you know, I hope this doesn't change us. I'm like,
Yeah.
give a shit, so
Yeah.
it's just like, and that's how she broke it down to me. Like, yeah, I
Yeah.
still like men, but I feel more. I don't feel like I'm bi, and I definitely don't feel like I'm a lesbian. But this is where I feel more comfortable at. But I really like the person's mindset. So that's how
And,
she explained
and
it.
that's how I would explain it on a personal level. I don't know if I can give it the textbook, but on a personal level, that's really just. I mean, and then you have your sapiosexual sex, blah, all of these different terms that describe so many different things, which is all beautiful. But for me, I just really give a fuck about the quality of person,
Yeah.
and that's what it boiled down to for me. You know, I never really cared too much about hardware. Hardware has always been a plus. I've loved my wife when we were itty bitty, and I love my wife when we was 3 bitty, baby. I love a person's ability to not only be themselves but love themselves. And that's more aligned with my frequency and my vibration. So for me, as it relates to sexuality, pansexual, I mean, can I say it encompasses everything? Well, no, because there are some things that I can't say that apply to me specifically as it relates to my sexuality, but it's really just the mind. I love people who are present with themselves, and it takes a lot of courage to be present with yourself, regardless of what your hardware looks like. That's
I
why I would love to engage with a female, a male, a female to male trans man, just because it takes a lot. I mean, for the women as well, and this isn't no sexism, right? It's just it takes a lot to be who you are if who you are isn't the status quo. And I found a lot of gems in a lot of people who choose themselves over society, that choose their truth, that I actually want to be around. That shit is influential.
Yeah.
Influence is what turns my parts, not that cheap Teflon coated Dollar General joint. That's cool for the people who it worked for. But you see, me, baby, I like a cast iron skillet because
Yeah.
I'm soul food. Do you understand me? I see myself, right? I'm
I
aware of myself. So
I I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Um, this um this has brought up a plethora of questions for me. And
Okay.
this is the reason why I have been in awe and all these things right now. A plethora of questions for me.
Plethora.
Um,
We
not
have
to get
to
completely off topic because there's another section that I would like to get to about
oh
current
geez.
events.
Yes.
Oh
Um, but wouldn't that include dating anybody you would want to be, or talking to anyone on any type of relationship you would want to be you would want to be in any type of relationship. You want to vibe with them or be attracted to their personality at some level. It don't matter of their sexual gender.
Not necessarily, because I'm a heterosexual woman. So I I would love all of the mindset and the ideologies. I would like that wrapped up into a penis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Preferably a
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be offensive to anybody. A
Oh, I'm
non
not. I
wait a
wasn't
minute.
asking that question to anybody be offensive or anybody take that
No,
offensive.
I
she was
no,
speaking
I
about
just
her
I would
expression.
I'm
I,
just
but
trying. I'm just trying to understand.
No, yeah, we
no,
get it.
it's but it did. I'm to answer your question from at least
Yeah.
from my
This
perspective.
I'm a member of LGBTQ plus community.
Right.
I'm just trying to understand. I am
And
gay. My husband is bi. He did identify as pansexual at a point when he first came out, and then he moved over to bi. He started identifying as bisexual.
Okay.
Um, but even I asked him this question before as well,
Yeah.
because for me, and when it comes to friendships or anything like that, for anybody that gets close to me, I have to be somewhat attracted to something of your personality or something like that. So that's the only reason why I asked the question the way I asked.
well, it's a level, and it also depends on your level of attraction. It could be, I
Yeah.
mean, yes, I can be attracted to Miss V. I can be attracted to you, but I can be attracted to you in a platonic way.
Yeah.
I'm not attracted to you in a romantic or a sexual way. So that's where it's still not pan.
Yeah.
It's not a pansexuality.
Yeah.
Where
So it's more of a sexual
when we're
attraction.
talking about sexualities, yes. We're not
Okay.
talking about, relationships or friendships, which friendships and relationships can be the same,
Yeah.
but we're not talking about that in that regard. We're talking about as a what your sexual orientation is in
Yeah.
this regard. So in this regard, a pansexual person, they're attracted to the mind of whomever, and not necessarily what they're,
So the
you know,
personality and all those things is actually a more of a sexual turn on.
say that one more time.
Well,
The personality and everything is more of a sexual turn on than what the actual gender or
Correct.
what they identify
well,
as.
so
Correct. It's
so that
their physical has nothing to do with it.
Right. So
yes.
the definition that I saw said it was gender blind.
Yeah.
So
So
Okay.
and this is another distinction that I want to make as well, which is why I lean more towards the pansexual side of the house, but why I speak in the ways in which I speak about it, because there's a lot. Oh God, to say a lot sounds like too much, so I don't want to say that. Growing up, there were a lot of heterosexual men who were attracted to me, my mind. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And did it lead to sexual escapades? Some did, some didn't, right? And all of those things force these individuals to see themselves in a light that they are either not comfortable, haven't had the opportunity to, or just aren't ready. So a lot of times when you let your light shine, you unintentionally give people the permission to do the same. But
Mm-hmm.
when that happens for them, they get the way free will is set up, they can denounce that, right? It doesn't, it's about how you identify with how you see you, which is why I don't really care for labels, right? Honestly, that's such an Aquarius thing about me. I really don't give a fuck about labels. I give a fuck about how people label themselves.
And
I don't give.
I guess that does make sense because when me and my husband got together, I was the first guy that he was ever with, and he identified as pansexual when we first got together.
Yeah.
And I asked him why, but he only had an attraction at that time towards me, not other men.
Well, right.
He
So
only
and
had he only had that sexual attraction. Like we
yeah,
talked every day
yeah,
without we talked every day without ever seeing each other, without ever meeting each other, without ever exchanging pictures.
yeah,
Only thing we did was talk. but it developed into a sexual type of a relationship
Right.
between us without ever actually sending any kind of sexual things between each other. He had a whole
Yes.
girlfriend. He
I
had a whole
see.
girlfriend. So he said he felt like he felt like he was more pansexual than anything
Yeah.
because but he only had a sexual attraction towards me. He didn't look at other men that way.
Yeah. I mean,
And then
it's a thing.
when we start doing things and when we start doing things in a more sexual manner, he started looking at more like gay porn, or he'll look at another guy and be like, "Oh, he's sexy," or things like that.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
then
but
then
it,
then he started
becoming more aware of
okay, I'm
self and
bisexual.
right. And this
Okay.
is why I spoke about my transition to transition, right? About my ascension to where I am now, right? Because I saw myself when I met my wife at 15, I saw myself as a very much so heterosexual man. Did I have sexual desires or impulses or thoughts about other boys my age, maybe a little bit older? Absolutely. Absolutely. But to say that then versus saying that now speaks on my awareness of self, right? So I just kind of want to speak on that just so I have a lot of heterosexual men who I engage with who I have the most difficult time actually engaging upstairs because it's so frustrating. It's a thing that I really want to see go away, but it's a thing that I also understand. We got to keep people at distance so they don't hurt us with our most valuable and sensitive information. There's a lot of men out there who feel a lot of different things, and it's just like and as a black man who not only grew up in the hood but was raised in the 90s and see so much intersectionality between me and my brother to my left and to my right, like I get why you wouldn't tap into a thing that's sitting you in, that's staring you in the face. Like I understand it, especially to be a queer black dad and a queer black husband. Like this shit ain't for the weak, y'all. Let me tell you, this shit is not for the weak because you're open to so much criticism. But you see, I don't really give too much a fuck. But I'm built a certain type of way where most people just probably are not. So I get why a lot of men would choose to not expound or go and do the work that it takes to find out what is true for them. Not using it as a crutch, as any other reason. I have friends who are on the DL. I have friends who, do so many different things with their lives. And of course, I don't want to disrespect anyone's choice because I've been in all of those spaces at one point. I guess. I mean, I was discreet. I've always been discreet. Even when my wife and I started dating, people didn't know me and my wife were dating. I didn't go around. I mean, this was also before like the heavy push of social media, right? So we were like, well it was MySpace, and MySpace was hardly even really a thing because we didn't have data on our cell phones like how we do now. So you couldn't go check your MySpace right in that particular time. But I've always been very discreet about whom I engage with. That's since I was a tot, And should my wife and I not be together for whatever reason or whatever the case may be, I still would very much so be that because that's just my personality. But so many people will see that as me being a down low brother. And it's just like, well, I mean, you can't win for losing. My business ain't everybody's business. But at the same time, you know, and that's a whole different patch of grass. But I think from my perspective, right, and how I've seen things and how I get why a lot of people make the decisions that they make. But for me, I don't run from my bulls in my life. I take my bulls by the horn. At least I try to, and I would hope that if there is anybody who would be in a particular space where that does apply to, that they apply what is best for them. If not running, if not going to the bull is what suits you and you're right now, hey, right, Godspeed. But like I have a hard time engaging with certain men just because um they're so rigid and fixed. They're not open-minded and they have this certain construct of thinking and then with that construct how it influences things like society and what is or isn't off limits or y'all. Yeah, because I told for those of you just tuning in, I told Double Dose and Chucky on the episode that I was on previously, right, that when I layer my conversation, it's like how I do a sandwich or how I cook. We go for depth of flavor when it comes to cooking. For me, when it comes to conversing, it's no different, right? Depth. So a lot of times I can't get a basic conversation out of these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Just because I enjoy to converse, that isn't a love language for me. It's a thing that I just find enjoyable for sport,
And
right?
I'm a microwave meal. So like, yeah,
I know Teflon. I
that,
know Teflon. Teflon.
I'm a microwave meal. So but you know,
Well,
it's all we're all a refrigerator.
not to go on to the next topic, but but yeah. So this week's current we actually have this week's current event. There's actually two. One happened today, and the other one happened last week on the 6th. It's actually here in Tennessee. It is the two black men that were put off of the Tennessee somebody help me
Legislature.
out.
The Tennessee legislature, so they were kicked out because of the Tennessee shooting that happened a few days prior, and the children of in the state of Tennessee storm. When I hate to say storm, but they protested. No, they didn't storm. They protested. That's me using improper language. And the three Tennessee legislators stood in solidarity and with the protesters and the children, and so it basically was a decorum situation.
For
And
some odd reason, two of them were taken off, but one of them was not.
we don't know, and
We were taking our pause.
Why can't we say the two black gentlemen legislators were kicked
We
out
can say
and
that.
the white lady was kept? Like, why
We
was
can't say that.
She came out and spoke about that. She actually came out and addressed that. She said
Wow.
she said she understand why they did what they did. She said, I'm a 60-year-old, in her words, she said, I'm a 60-year-old white woman. That's why they didn't put me out. And they feel like they could do that to those young men. They're younger, they're young, and they're black, and they're wanting to do X, Y, and Z. And I'm a 60-year-old white woman. That's exactly why they did it. And she addressed that. I heard her say that today. Because they're both named Justin. I'm going to get their names mixed up.
Yeah,
Justin
one named Justin
Jones. Pearson and Jones.
Okay, so yeah, one of them was reinstated on a temporary basis. His seat is up for voting. So hopefully people that are in Tennessee that listen to our podcast, please make sure you vote to keep him
I
in.
will be voting.
Because he cares about your position, and also you all call your legislator, call your and get the other Justin in, because that's not fair, because based on a decorum, especially when one of them nasty pissed in somebody else's seat and he didn't lose his spot.
Right.
Three other ones are being investigated right now. One of them being investigated because he's a known Klansman. The other one's being investigated because of child pornography, and the other one's being investigated by the feds. So,
ain't it crazy how all three of those are stuck in together?
All of those are reasons to be kicked off. So I don't even understand
that
why they're even still on there.
And before we go any further, I want to make sure that we have Shit Talk Podcast, me and Chuck and Double Dose, we give our hearts and thoughts and prayers out to the people that were injured or shot or killed in the Louisville, Kentucky shooting that happened today.
Yes, and no matter how the media, the Louisville, yes.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, but we have Shit Talk Podcast. First of all, our hearts and thoughts and prayers goes out to all the people that are victims, the families and the loved ones of the not only the recent shooting victims, but all people that are just dropping because of the senseless violence that's happening. And
nationwide.
It's that our leaders are not listening to us. It's very very unfortunate. I had a good friend of mine today break down that it's almost like we are reaching into an oligarchy. I might be saying that word wrong, so look it up, go do your research, that's your homework. So that it feels like that's what the U.S. is tap dancing into a little bit, and I hope that's not the case. I'm gonna pray and work hard on my own end to make sure that's not the case, at least from what all I can do. But but it just seems like our leaders are not listening to us, listening to the majority. So and I don't even know all the full scope of what happened in Louisville, and I'm pretty sure those poor people that are just running around like a chicken with their heads cut off, trying to get some stabilize everything and get some normalcy to go on right now. But yeah, that's I'm gonna let Chucky give the other news because I'm traumatized from the other news today that happened.
Yeah, the other news is with the Dalai Lama. I don't know if anybody else has seen this. It was on CNN, and it also happened. It has also been playing on other news networks as well, but you can see it on CNN. It is also shared on Shit Talk Podcast as well. The
Yes.
video is very, very disturbing. The Dalai Lama was apparently doing some kind of photo op with a child today. And he first kissed the child and then stuck his tongue out and put his tongue inside the child's mouth.
This child could not have been more than 7, maybe 8 at the most years of age.
Yes.
And when I saw the video,
And I don't understand how everybody is okay with this simple apology and this this outright craziness with this pedophilia that's going on apparently everywhere. And it's just keep on being excused over and over and over and over again. And it's happening in churches and everywhere.
Yeah, and it's a lot of these I want us to make sure we're preface this by saying allegations because we have to. So
That's not even allegations. Because the thing is that this is not just happening like on news networks. This is happening in families. And then people are blaming children. People are blaming children. Oh, she fast and everything else like this. This is nonsense.
And if you listen to what I'm saying, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying we have to use that term allegation for all protection reasons.
Yeah,
we have to.
Yeah,
we got to. We barely listen. We barely got 2
If a child tells you that somebody's touching them, if a child's telling you that they don't want to sit on somebody's lap, if a male or female, if a child tells you they don't want to give somebody a hug, the child shouldn't have to.
You don't have to.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of these. It's unfortunate that it's a lot of these allegations going on, and unfortunately, babe, we got to use that terminology. We have to.
What makes me nervous about the Dalai Lama is this. It makes me nervous. It kind of makes me panic a little bit. Is that his servitude, his ministry? Ministry means service, means servitude, right? Mm-hmm. Has always been to children.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And this actually, this came out from quite a few people that this apparently was not the first incident that occurred. It's just that this is the one that they caught on such a vivid record. And that is the scary part.
It makes
my skin crawl. I have, when I say, I explained to Chucky, I said I didn't even mean to click on the snippet. I didn't even.
I haven't watched it for that reason.
Don't traumatize yourself, because I literally almost burst into tears because I'm just like, that's a child.
Don't watch it. My other thing is, why did nobody grab this child?
Because it's the Dalai Lama.
It's the Dalai Lama. It's
why did nobody? But the thing is, all these other adults are there. Why did nobody grab this child?
They are conditioned.
They're looking at it like, oh my God, it's such a blessing. They're looking at this as like such a blessing. It's a different culture. It's a completely different culture.
It's a different mindset altogether. We like to call it church brain. So whatever the leader says, whatever you just go along with their rhetoric, whether it be biblically sound or not.
I'm going to bring it locally with I'm not going to say any names. I'm not going to do anything. But Chucky, you was here and back home when all this was going on. A certain clergyman that got a teenage girl pregnant right here in our hometown. Got a certain teenage girl pregnant, and guess what? He served a few months in jail. Nobody was angry with him. The teenager, they blamed the girl, but hold on. Here's the cool part. The teenager's parent pushed the relationship, encouraged the relationship, encouraged it. Guess what? That said clergyman is still ministering at different buildings now, and they have to keep the minors separate from said clergymen. They have to, because it would go against.
And then they make posts on Facebook about being church hurt and doing everything else like this. You gotta protect your children from these dang on people.
What are you talking about? No. Nobody's hurt. Nobody's hurt in this situation because they're looking at it like it's a blessing on their family. Even the teenager, no longer a teenager now, they're an adult now, but even the teenager at the time was enamored by this because it was pushed and encouraged. This is why I'm saying I'm just putting it in a perspective where you can kind of see why they weren't outraged, because they weren't really outraged when it happened here back in, what was that, 08, 09 era, around that time when all that happened. I'm gonna say between 05 to 2010 when all that occurred. So it really wasn't an outrage because of the mindset that people have when it comes to spiritual leaders. It's not that's why, listen, this is why a lot of Catholic, priests and stuff are getting away with it. They continue.
But nobody realized, like, nobody realizes that, like, this is like this child has no say so.
Okay,
this
so
child has.
Here's the thing. So I'm a pastor's kid, right? Been in ministry my whole life. I'm a minister. I have a minister's license. This is what happens. These people, this is not just men, these people get up and they are able to move other people's emotions, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're able to work out their emotions and make them feel something in a way to where they feel like they can do anything because of what they feel this person has empowered them to do. When really it's just an emotion. Like, after we have sex, we have a feeling that there's a euphoric feeling that we have. So the same thing is happening when you go to church and you hear a good sermon, not in a way that you can apply it, but in a way that it makes you feel good. He done told you how good you are, that you're gonna be blessed, that you're gonna get money, that kind of stuff. So when you have somebody that is consistently making you feel that euphoria, you tend to go and have this pseudo respect for this person, to where things that you would normally shade people for, you kind of just give them more leeway.
Mm-hmm.
Or you put them on a pedestal because they've done so many things for you, and they've made you feel so many things in your heart and for the community, if they are in the community. So then this person is allowed gravity to do more because of how this person is making humans feel emotionally, right? So then they're given space to be alone with children. They're given space to be alone with teenage boys and teenage girls, because the parent's mind is, oh, well, if they made me feel like this, they can definitely make my child feel like this and stop doing whatever it is that they're doing. Yep. Or maybe people will sell their children to ministry.
That is true.
Maybe if she starts hanging with the pastor or with the pastor's team, then we can move in a place of influence in the church.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Because the church influence, regardless of what anybody may think, it sends you on a power trip.
In any organization,
right?
Not just church, where you feel like
absolutely right.
Because you see it in the military all the time. You see it in the military definitely. All the time.
Because it is the pride of life. People can become prideful and they love to hear themselves and to hear about themselves and to know that people are watching them and looking at them. It makes them feel kamikaze, right? They feel
This
better
sounds
than
like a mental
everyone else.
illness.
Huh?
It sounds like a mental illness.
It can be. That's why I call it church brain. Because you literally fall into this fog where the things that are going on around you do not make sense.
Yep. Yeah. Oh God.
It does not make sense. So if you have somebody in the pulpit preaching something, you automatically believe them as opposed to going to the same word of God that they said they went to and reading it for yourself and being like, yo, that's not what that says. That's not.
Just like, okay, for years, people preached about, about tithing. There's nothing in the Bible about tithing. Not a thing. Not a thing. But hold on, wait. It's tithing in a certain way. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong that tithing in the Bible is not done. The way it's stated in the Bible, it's not preached in certain churches or certain areas.
In Malachi, it says to bring your tithes into the storehouse.
But they're talking about food for a temporary time.
But that is what they made at that time. That is their first fruit. But that's what they made.
But that's what I'm. But this is driving home the point that I'm saying. They're taking this scripture and applying it as in food, and telling people this to bring your money into the church. And in to some regard, because I've been in some places where it's not just 10%. They're telling you to put in 60, 80. If you believe hard enough, it's 100. You give a paycheck. I literally had a girl tell me, I used to work with years ago in a summer camp. We were doing.
Is a church in Jacksonville where you literally have to tithe. You literally have to set up your paycheck.
Hold on, wait.
A percentage of your paycheck to go to church.
We were junior camp counselors. She was told by her minister, you have your first paycheck, the entire check, should come into the house of the Lord if you want to receive your blessing.
Okay, so let me educate y'all right quick. So we can know what is real and what is not. The 10% is supposed to be brought into the house to keep the lights on,
right?
To bring funds in to affect the community. I always say to people who ask me, if you start going to a church, always check their fruit. Always check the ground. If you've been sitting there for a minute and the lights is falling out and the church is raggedy and y'all ain't doing nothing for the community, do not get in that church. Because it's not fertile ground.
That is not fertile ground.
Nothing.
That is so
wise. Don't do it.
That is so wise.
It is 10%. If you feel led, not emotionally, but mentally, you see a need that needs to be met in this church, and you're like, you know what? I can meet that need.
Ooh, wait a minute.
Then do that.
I got a better one for you.
Okay.
In the church that I grew up in my teenage years, we didn't have employees. Okay. Everybody did something. My mom and I, we was always in the kitchen ministry, and that's what it was. Whether we was cooking or raising funds for the youth department, and we also cleaned. So that was us. When I transitioned into a different church, went to a different church, I saw a mess. So in my mind, clean it up. Hey, if y'all show me what a vacuum is.
Yeah,
I got this. It's no problem. Yeah. I don't mind.
Yeah,
I got stopped and I was met with resistance because that's you're and it was and the person who stopped me, at the time, I won't reveal who they are. They stopped me and was like, hey, I know you're just doing this because I see the type of person that you are, but if the wrong person catch you, they're going to try to bring you before so-and-so, which of course is the pastor. It's going to bring you before the pastor because they're going to try to accuse you of trying to come in on their money.
Okay.
Wait a minute. That was the first time I learned. Hold on. That was the first time I even learned there was a such thing as church employees. I was like, what you mean? What you mean? Like, that was my first time. And I was in my early 20s. I was like, what you mean? What are you talking about, employees?
I didn't even know.
The only person that gets paid that I know of, and it's just a love offering, is the musicians. That's it. What y'all doing?
That's what I thought too. The musicians.
So here's the thing. When you have a large ministry, because sometimes you have everything in play. There's good ground. There's giving to the, anytime you give to a community as a church body and the word is on point and there is no condemnation, the doors are open to any and everybody, there's going to be a large draw. There's going to be a whole lot of people to come. One pastor cannot handle all them people. If you see a large church and they just got one pastor, there is a control issue there. One. Two, when you have a large church like that, he needs to, or she needs to be able to break the church down into categories to where all of the people are taken care of, because that person that is the pastor over the church, he can't reach everybody. You can't go to everybody's hospital bed. When everybody getting married, you're not going to be able to marry everybody. So you
agreed
to delegate.
Yeah.
When some churches are so large, you have an overflow to where you can employ others to help you. Because baby, if I work for a church, you gonna pay me.
Hello, somebody.
You gonna pay me. My minister's license and my degree says that I'm walking in the door making $65,000 a year working at your church.
Come on, Black woman.
Because if I work at your church and I'm going to minister to the people in your church, the people that you shepherd, the people that I now shepherd, that is my job. I don't have anything else to do. My job is to stand in the gap, pray for these people, make sure they're good, make sure their soul is right, make sure if something goes down with them that I am there for them spiritually. Now, that's my job. You need to pay me.
This is not a big, like a, I don't want to say mega church, but it's not a big church.
Right.
It actually, both, I would say the church I grew up in and this particular church, they're about the same size.
Okay.
Like as far as like, now obviously over time the people population has dwindled down and whatnot in my first church, but
they dying?
Huh?
They dying off?
Yeah, they're dying off. And
they need
it's not good at all. I was always taught, because I grew up like you, Miss B. I grew up in church. My uncle was the minister in his church, but I was the superintendent for Sunday school for years, and me and my mom was assistant in the back with the finances, so get it. But both of them was respectively about the same size, probably neck and neck. Everybody runs their house differently, but they were about the same size. That's why to me it didn't register as a thing. It was just like, hey, we all work together. Yeah. We all work together for the body.
We pitch in, yeah.
We all and that was just the energy I was bringing with me.
Right, because that's all you knew.
That's all you knew. Yeah,
that's all I knew. And that's why I'm like, I see food back here where somebody kid left it. Let me get it. Hey, I vacuum. I ain't doing nothing. I even tidied the bathroom.
If anything, it was hospitality more than it was anything else coming from you. And I get that.
And that's who should have taken care of it, was hospitality. Yeah. Or if they felt like they had a janitor that worked there, then that's the person that takes care of it. This is another thing that I tell people when they are going to a new church. You watch the ground and make sure that it's fertile, and then sit back for a little while and watch and see how everybody is moving. Before you do anything, before you sign up for an area of ministry, before you sit down with any minister or the pastor, sit back for about a month. And
see, that sounds like a whole job. I don't even go to church. I just I give my tithes to whoever on the side of the road and be like, I need something to eat. Here you go. Like, here you go. Here you go. You need 10%. There you go. I'll spread this out between you, Billy Bob, and cousin over there, and there we go.
Oh
Okay.
my God.
So here's another thing. I was a minister at a church when I was in El Paso, and I worked my butt off at this church. Okay, so I did everything. Name it, I was there. And there came a point where I did not have an income. And the pastor pulled me to the side, and I was like, okay, so I know I haven't been tithing because I don't have an income. He literally said to me, Lindsay, you have been tithing. You tithe with your time, you tithe with your talent, you show up. That is a part of tithing. Your time, your talent. This is what you give. You give that. We good, right?
Yeah.
I said I haven't tithed in 3 months, and I should.
But what I'm saying is, it's not just monetary. If you go into a church and they just want your money only, or their
Instead of your
requirement,
gifts.
Do you got to
their
go to church to tithe?
requirement for you to give of your time and your talent is cash money. Next, that's not the one.
Oh
Do
yeah.
you got to go to church to tithe?
That's
No.
no.
Oh, okay.
No.
All right.
You tithe from your heart.
Actually, the business world has taken the tithing principle
Yeah.
and used it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
out
agree
of my
with that as well.
Tithing is sowing and reaping. So what the business world does, they do it as
out of my tax.
philanthropically. So they'll
My
give so much a year to make sure that they're covered, and then they get so on the back end, they get so much a year back, or they're covered. That's how tithing works. It's sowing and reaping.
Oh, so they take out my taxes.
Right. Yeah, the whatever company that is that you work for. Yes, my lord. And
Oh,
then,
okay.
and then
So I get it back. I get it back in my income tax.
Well, they tithe. I just wish they lower their tithe. They want 20%. They take 20% out. I need them to lower.
And they take more than what the Lord is asking for. So
Exactly.
I'm doing
It's
double
more than the
blessings.
10%.
I'm doing double blessings.
I tell you what, Chucky. One
These
thing
bills don't
one thing about me and my wife, at least as it relates to our Black dollar, we are very intentional about sowing A back into our Black communities, but B, should it be no, we're very even when I was in the military, even before, we grew up like that. So that was very much so our mindset, right?
I don't all the time, because sometimes they should be high.
Well, I mean, that's
they should be high. They should be higher than the regular shit.
And raggedy. Okay.
Well, but you see, what I'm talking about is things that my wife and we enjoy. No. I'm talking about the things my wife and I enjoy. Like when it comes to food, we follow the Black dollar. When it comes to luxuries, whether it was, y'all saw, well, Chuck, you saw, I had my hair.
When it comes to food, I don't follow. When it comes to food, I don't follow the Black dollar if they're making it in their house.
Hey, because we don't know who got roaches, but that's besides the point.
What you're saying.
Yeah, like that's besides the point. Like, no, we tend to follow with the Black dollar just because we desire to enrich our communities, and it's the same about what I want to. I see money as a tool, and this is how I raise my sons. I'm very instrumental with what I do with my finances. Right. And what I can give back to my community, I do it in a way that I don't need a tax write-off for. Right. Black barbers. Every place that me and my family have lived, we have always given our funds to Black barbers, even if we had to drive. It didn't matter the city. It didn't matter the state.
Man, go to a white barber to get their hair cut.
You would be surprised how supply and demand drives a market. Let me tell you.
One time, my tape line went like this.
When you're in the military, you do not have too many choices, and in a lot of places where you live, supply and demand drives the market. Like here in Houston, we got to pay damn near $40 for a haircut. But supply and demand. If I were to go into a city and place, right, where there weren't too many people who looked like me, right, they were getting their hair cut. But if someone knew how to cut my hair, I go into another country. I say another country, but even within the U.S., there are places that are not like the other. I mean, you see that a lot when you go from duty station to duty station, and you meet so many different people. So it's one of those things. I remember paying when I started my military career, I was like, I should start. I should get my barbering license just before I go in because I'm already nice with my hands. I already
so much money. Oh my
the
God.
money I could have made in a decade
Oh my God.
on a side hustle. That could
So
have been a
much money.
1099 hustle just for me and my family to eat and get a tax write-off just because if I was thinking in the ways that now I am because I'm a husband, I'm a father, right? I thought it, my wife even said it, but I was like, nah, I'm just gonna be in on this hustle. But I had to learn a few things, but that's just besides the point. I'm telling you, like supply and demand drives the market. When I was in basic training, they scalped all of us bald like this because they did not care what your hair looked like. And it was like $5. Everybody got a $5 skin, and you had to, you
Like
know
the
what I
little
mean?
Asian ladies. The
Yes,
little
sir.
Asian
Yes,
ladies don't
ma'am.
care nothing
Yes,
about their
ma'am.
hair.
And they're not gonna cut it with the grain. They're going against it. They got heads to cut.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's you see it a lot. Well, I've seen it a lot when with me going in, and this is what I want for my sons: intersectionality. You see, I want them to be able to be mindful of a lot of those little things we take for granted. I make sure my kids know I'm gonna get long-winded, y'all. So if y'all gotta stop me, let me know. But you know, I tell my kids about the luxury of hot water. It's like it's little things, but it's so simple. You know, I have plenty of friends in Florida and family members who have to do certain things just for clean water. I don't want my kids to be just because they have what would seem to be a life that is completely adjacent to what my wife and I grew up in, right? I still don't want them to lose touch with reality. You know what I'm saying?
I know my reality is hot water, so I don't.
Well,
Like,
but when the hot water heater go out, and then we gotta go a night without hot
They
water,
replaced my water heater, so I don't.
and it's
Again, I don't. My reality is a little different. I don't know about that.
I just want my kids to be aware that the world that they live in isn't the only one that everyone sees. I want my children to be I want my children to see themselves sooner than it took me to see myself. And I think it starts with being aware of the world not being just about you. You see?
and then keeping the black dollar, circulating the black dollar
In the black family, in the black community. So even when it comes to my churches and my institutions, I'm only sowing into fertile ground. Money is a tool for me. So if I'm sowing my dollar into any institution, especially one of the cloth, it's going to be fertile ground. It's going to be fertile ground, and I have a relationship with God that I know fertile ground when I see it, smell it, feel it. So, and I'm holding out for that. I haven't since I've gotten to Houston. I have not. I am waiting because one thing I don't play about is my soul, and not these little boys. I cannot play with their future. So my black dollar is gonna have to be in front of grounds of black churches. So tithing is tithing, I guess, to some, but to me, baby, I would rather tithe with my gifts within the community. I would rather tithe with my gifts within the community than
I can tithe with my time and
right. Going to black, but you see, for me,
but,
going to black businesses, that's a part of tithing for me within my community. You see you see where I'm going with it? So I will tithe into my community in those ways, no matter where I went, so that I could give what my 10% without the institution of being, because I'm going to church, baby. I'm not doing that.
So my biggest thing is that I don't go to church. I have attended churches. I'll do it.
I didn't mean to cut you off, double dose. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jake.
I'll do churches every now and then. But it's just like I get into it and I find nice church I like going to and everything else like that. And then next thing I know, pastor going to jail. Next thing you know, the feds coming in.
Baby, because it's real. He's not lying. He's not lying, y'all.
It's like it's big churches.
I thought he was going to say, him and the deaconess getting into an argument or some shit like that.
No. The leadership. The leadership, you guys.
But it's not always small churches. It's not always small churches. These have been mega churches I've been to. These have been huge churches.
I don't do mega churches.
I don't like
these have been all type of.
I haven't done one. I can't say I don't. I haven't done one.
There's a method to the madness of a mega church on how to move around.
These have been all kind of churches that I've been to, and it's just been like, this is like, this like I understand like God is out there and things like that, but I'm like, this is nonsense. And you all want me to give y'all give I'm giving y'all my money and everything else like that to the Lord, and like,
See, yeah,
Lord,
I prefer small churches. I like to get to know
this has
my
happened in small churches. This is happening.
okay, again, I'm not saying it has not happened. I'm just saying as for me, I like small churches. I've been to mega churches and I'm just not comfortable there. It's just not there's no
I've heard that a time or two.
to me, it's not personable. It's not like yeah, I might learn this person, but yeah, they done moved on to the next church the next week, or they done moved on here, and then like I don't get to know my minister or my pastor and all this other stuff. And see, I've always been a student in church where I I sit down and I question the pastor. Like coming to the front of the church, they try to hurry. Some of them used to try to hurry up and get into the back. Like, damn, let me get away from her. She coming with her notebook because that's just who I am, even in school. So, you know,
I literally did this at the mega church. Like, really walked up to the pastor, walked up to the pastor right at the
that's
end of
fine. But
service.
what I'm
Hey,
saying is that I'm just saying, like, for me,
Yeah.
that's just me in small church. Big churches just it's not comfortable. It's not personable to me. It seems cold to me. Like, you know,
the giant ACs.
no, shut up. Like,
She's speaking about a particular warmth that you feel when
we
the
know
spirit
that
of the Lord is present.
no,
No,
that
double
jackass.
dose. I
No,
hear you.
that's
I hear
they
you
got
loud and
smaller.
clear.
She
He
knows
It's
knows.
smaller
she's
ACs.
speaking about the familiarity of her growing up in a smaller church and it being relatable to her, and then stepping into a larger church and her not being to relate to how they function.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
is what
I'm
she's
sorry.
speaking to.
My
I
Yeah.
don't think that it
my
has
special
anything
just
to
kicked
do
in.
with whether or not the spirit of the Lord is
Yeah.
there.
I
I
agree.
think it
No,
just
no,
has to do
No,
with
that was
because
that's what I had said. That's what I had said. No, you're right. I agree.
no, I was saying Chucky was being an ass, but no,
No.
I just like I would never say that the spirit of the Lord is not in a big or small church. I would never think that, but I just feel like you know, in a big church, it's just like it's not comfortable unless I'm with the people that I came with.
right.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's like okay, like I'll talk to people but it was all for me, it was always difficult to get to the pastor. I could get to the sub pastor minister 1-2 over here. I know that's not right, but like I could get to him
Well.
or her, but I couldn't get to the one who said what they said, and that was
Yeah.
interpretation. No, I need to talk to you because you said it. So let me ask you this question. And I don't understand because in this scripture it says that. Now help me understand. And you know, I've so far I've only had two ministers in a pastor and a minister in my entire life. My entire life, I'm 30, I'll be 34 in a few weeks. In my entire life, that welcomed me to them to question them because and they always told me, you keep me on my toes.
Yeah.
You said if I said something wrong, sister so and so, sister Dose is gonna catch it because hold on, I don't agree with that pastor. Wait a minute, I got a question. And Sunday school, I was worse than Sunday school. My ex had to put his hand on my hand in Sunday school. Like if you raise your hand one more damn time,
Oh.
let this old lady finish this, but she's saying it wrong.
The poor old lady.
Like, I'm telling you, like I'm a different animal. Yeah, I'm a different animal. And I've told Chucky this many times, a few times, where we had an option to do seminary school at my church, and I took the first portion of it. I almost completed, but my ex at the time made me get out of it because he was like, no, I'm not dealing with you. I'm not dealing with student Dose and real you outside of this because student you is insane. So
Here's the deal.
Boundaries.
Right? So mega churches are not for everyone.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't fit there because you need that personal one-on-one with the person who's speaking in the pulpit. However, mega churches are good for some people, especially people who have big families with lots of children. They are beneficial. This is how you plug in a mega church. Of course, again, I'm going to reiterate, always sit back, and watch for a little while before you start moving around and doing anything and everything. Pay attention, watch what's going on, make sure everything is copacetic. Understanding that humans are humans, and then Black humans is a little bit different than other humans. We go do it.
Not one lie was said.
None. But how you do it is when you start going to a mega church, they have areas of ministry that you can plug into. You talked about like sub pastors or whatever. So you have different areas of ministry that you're interested in. So for instance, it could be the choir. The choir is going to be under the pastor that's over the fine arts department. That is the person that you would sit under. That is the person who would come see about you if you were in the hospital or if something happened or if you needed some type of spiritual guidance. That's who you go to.
I see.
If you submit yourself to the prison ministry, the pastor that's over the prison ministry, that is your person. That is who you talk to. That is who guides you. That is your shepherd, right? That is how you move in a mega church. You move by what your talent, your purpose, what your calling is. And to me, that's better because I'm not getting a generalized whatever. This particular person is speaking to who I am. Like if I am purposed to be in the behavioral health department of the church, because they do have them, then the pastor that's over that department can key in on that for me. I don't have to do all the other rigmarole of everybody else that's going on. We can talk about what I got, and you can go straight to that. I don't have to deal with the rest of the foolishness. You know what I'm saying?
I see that.
That's
I see that.
That makes sense.
And I've done both. I've done a really tiny church.
All right, came here, did this. I got my 2 little questions in. I'm good. Y'all good?
What are you saying?
I don't be caring about none of that. I don't be caring about none of that. Like trying to do all those little secret, huh?
It's not secretive.
Not say secret ministry. I'm just do all the little ministries. I'll just be like,
and the only reason why I made a point to say it is because people get lost in mega churches and they don't really know how to plug in, and they feel like they don't know anybody, and it just seems like a sea of people.
That was very I learned something. Thank you for that. So that was very educational.
For me, I
wouldn't know. I wouldn't have known how to maneuver.
If I'm in church, you know,
and you don't like to talk to everybody. Hey,
I do.
How you doing?
I do.
What scripture you see?
Yeah, we said that. I don't create
the screen. There's a screen up there.
I create a whole little fan club right there in my circle with me.
There's a screen up there. There's a screen. The words up there. You don't need to open you don't even gotta open your Bible. Scan the little link on the
Double Dutch would be excellent in a smaller ministry. And I say that only because she's very, very passionate.
Yeah.
And she could make radical change in that area that church is in, which is what churches are supposed to do. They are supposed to affect change in that community. And she could do that because she's willing to challenge the status quo.
Yeah.
She's willing to be like,
that is so wise.
This is not what this is supposed to look like.
It's
supposed to look like this. How come we're not doing this? And it'll tilt that thing on the head to where it's exposing things that they're like, oh, how come we're not doing that? Oh, maybe we should open the doors on Saturdays and feed the kids because they're hungry. You know what I'm saying?
I tell you what, radical change would have definitely saved my generation of church kids who grew up in church. But then when we became grown, it was like, what that radical change in that space, I feel like would have really kept a lot of kids who just got lost in their small churches. If we're just going from the youth group to the now adult group, like there's that transition going from, okay, I'm a kid and then now I'm adult and I actually have roles and I have to uphold this pillar. There's like that radical change that's needed from that bridge of a gap, right? From generations that I feel like my kids kind of, I think the department really slacked in that department. Like
young adult ministry is so important because the transition between youth group and being in what we call big church, it's like a what do they call
night and day. You can't miss
a culture shock.
Absolutely.
It's like what we supposed to do?
It's like when you went to high school and you planned to go to college. Like you had all these plans. You had all the 6 o'clock classes. Freshman year. Because of course college is supposed to be a lot like high school. Because I did it then. Why can't I do it now? And then only to get in your first semester in college and realize, whoa, this is too early. What am I doing? Right. It is night and day. Night and day. This is a keen and distinct difference. And I remember feeling that, and I just didn't fit. I didn't fit anywhere. I definitely didn't. And that was the beginning of me kind of walking away from traditional church. And and I would love that for my boys and my family, because I feel like not only is that what my wife and I grew up under and around, and I want that for my boys, but it's my job to really protect them in the ways that, but I also want to give them that very same experience that Double Dose has, where they can talk to their pastor, they can talk to someone's ministry or someone's wisdom that speaks to their own ministry. I would want a candle of a candle. I won't want nobody touching on my goddamn babies. You understand me?
That's my main thing. That's my main thing with it. I can't trust you. I can't trust anyone with my children.
I can't
trust my children to go to a youth group with my. I can't go to a youth group because the thing is, I can't trust the people that's there. Not just the adults, but I also can't trust the youth because I don't know what they're going through at home and what you're going to display outside with my child.
You just hit a big topic that not too many people talk about.
What you're saying with that,
big deal.
I do. However, that comes into the portion of taking a moment and sitting back for a little bit and seeing what's what.
I agree, but people got a way of hiding their scariest parts.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
But people got a way.
Empower your kids
always come
out to speak up.
Yeah, see,
you
and
have to empower your kids.
That's
to be
it.
Able to be like, yo,
that's
this
it.
And this and this and this and this was happening, and I didn't like it, and I wanted to tell you because it made me feel uncomfortable.
Make that normal.
You don't have to cut that off.
Yeah.
Always tell me that something is going on or you don't like it. Yep. Empower your kids to be able to speak up.
That's what's going to bother me.
They'll speak up to the person who is doing it. You're not supposed to do that. My daddy said that you're not supposed to do that. My daddy said that you're not supposed to touch me like that. And that will make an adult draw back and be like, okay, their daddy probably gonna come back and get me. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, their daddy is.
Yes, their daddy will.
You know what I'm saying? But you have to. Linnea was like that. She still is like that. Extremely outspoken. She gonna tell you that it's wrong.
Yeah.
She gonna tell you that this is
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what's gonna bother me worse is that I'm gonna find out afterwards. I'm literally finding out afterwards. That's what's gonna bother me worse.
So are you gonna just walk around and not do anything because you're concerned that something's gonna happen to your baby?
It still do things. It still do things that I'm there for to be a part of.
But you can't.
That's the plus side of this, and this is what some people do. They put their kids in children's ministry, and they become a part of the children's ministry. So they're there to see everything and be a part of everything and know everybody. And when their kids transition out and go do something else, they go and transition out with their kids.
That's a good idea. You the inside mole. Hey, you the mole now. Now you the inside man.
Not only are you there watching your child, you're watching everybody else.
And everybody knows you.
Exactly. Everybody
Miss V.
Everybody knows that's your child.
Don't play. So
Miss V is kicking game for free. Oh my God. God.
So everybody knows that Chucky
I would do that.
Play about kids and
I would do
play
that.
about his kids. So with Chucky, they already know, like, okay, well, we know we can't get away from this stuff because he see everything.
Okay.
And you do see everything. You do. What you tell?
Chucky,
What
Chucky.
you tell little mama? What you tell little mama? I got eyes in the back.
Eyes in the back of my head.
People don't know. People don't know this joker really got eyes up under them dreads. So,
Listen, Chucky, I wanted to say, I heard you speak about fear from a place of not having control of what happens to your baby, right? And then you
Mhm.
finding out after the fact. I want to tell you something because I heard you when you said that. I can't say any names. There was a teacher in my son's school district that just got arrested for touching on a minor at her previous school in a previous district. That was my son's teacher, you guys. That was wild to me. And the school did no damage control about it or nothing, which is even crazier considering the area that we live in. But I just want to tell you, that was somebody who had the potential to do anything. And I met the teacher open house. I did all the different things. I did my checks as a parent, right? And it was a thing that, and granted, this could have been whatever it was, right? That led up to, I don't know the details of the case or anything or what have you, but what I do know is that this person, though should have been stopped before they were even put into the classroom, still made their way into a classroom, being responsible for my firstborn son. Right. So I absolutely hear you about the fears. And to Ms. V's point, teaching your children to speak up regardless of the location is one of the most invaluable things that I feel like I can gift my Black sons, because I need them to understand how to speak. They hear me get on their speech so much and so regularly, and I take the time to tell them that it's not about you sounding like I tell them it's not about you. It's not about how you sound. It's about how you present. I want my children to be emotionally aware. You know, I want my children to be productive members of society. But with that comes them owning their self righteousness, right? Their own space, their own identity, their own. It's a process. It's a multi-tiered process, but and this is a thing that is kind of a revelation for me, you know, because I've always been fearful about anyone touching on or doing anything with my son, so much so that I'm a helicopter dad, right? But this particular very unique experience just kind of goes to show you you can do all your checks and even leave it to the school board to do all their checks, you know. Not only do people have a way of hiding their ugliest parts, but you know, giving your children, and you've spoken a lot about how you have raised your daughter to be in a space where she does speak her mind and do X, Y, and Z. And I just hope that you're trusting that you're raising her to come to you if she notices strange behavior, not just strange people, because strange behavior shows up in familiar people too. And I had to learn that there was a difference between stranger danger and stranger activity danger. You know what I mean? Yes, because and that's when, even with the familiarity that you have with folks and the bond that you have built, when someone starts acting a little differently or a little more suggestively, I want my sons to, God, and I hate that I have to arm them with this so young, but I feel like as a father, it's my responsibility, and I want my sons to be able to speak to their truth, whatever it is, you know, because me as a Black kid growing up in America, right, it was fun, right, but I also was put into a lot of situations that had nothing to do with me. And thankfully I grew up in an age where, you know, on our school buses we had cameras. I can tell a whole backstory on how I got in trouble about being caught up with a bunch of kids on the school bus, right? And the thing had nothing to do with me, but I got roped up in it because I was one of the kids that looked like one of the kids. And then, you know, it was a whole backstory. I ain't gonna get into it, but I'm just saying, my mom had prepared me to speak my mind in a way where I wasn't afraid to say, "Hey, that had nothing to do with me." You know, I told them, and it was like it was crazy, y'all. It was crazy. I was a kid, but the principal of that school put my mom into the office, which was another Black man, right? Well, another Black man, but I was a Black boy, so and pulled my Black mom into the office, the principal's office, and she pulled out He pulled out the footage from the bus and he said, "Do you see your son?" He's like, "Yes." "Do you see what's going on?" It's like, "Yes." I said, "What is your son doing?" And I will never forget this. I will never forget the gentleman as well. It's those memorable moments, right? When you raise your child to do a certain thing, because all that fussing and yelling that we do at you, we hope get through to them kids, right? It was one of those moments for my mom. But for me, I told my mom when I got home, hey, that had nothing to do with me. And I got in trouble with it. And the principal called her in the next day, showed her that, and let her know you're doing a good job raising your son. And he said that to her in front of me. And I hope that I made my mom proud in that moment, because that's how she had raised me. So, why would my sons be any different? Especially with me trusting them in ways that I don't think my parents knew me well enough to trust me. I really know my sons, at least how they present now, until all of that changes and puberty hits, and then we'll be having a different conversation probably. But I don't even want to talk about the dating and the girls and the boys and the bees with stingers, and I'm not there yet. But I want them to have enough confidence in their own voice, right?
Absolutely.
I want them to have enough confidence in their own truth. And I tell my son, I try to raise them to understand that if it doesn't apply, let it fly. But if it does, engage with it mentally. That's what I try to give my sons. Just mental clarity in the ways that I can gift it, right? Or how I can teach it. So I feel like that would be beneficial for you. You know what I mean? Or just something to think about,
Well, back to our original topic. So,
you go.
Hey,
so,
it's getting me.
Unsolicited lies. What was that? That was a bad transition.
But I get it, Cause baby, listen. We just started smiling, talking. All right, well, back. Like you ain't even try to,
not even
a little bit.
I'm dead.
Back to Unsolicited Lies. Anyway, damn all that.
Same energy.
Woo!
And that was Dan with sports.
Right.
Back to you in the studio.
My God.
I couldn't think of a way to tie it back.
I don't know.
No,
Comedy gold. Comedy gold.
Well, anywho.
Again.
Hey, I got an excuse. I have an excuse.
That's okay. We good.
Everybody riding. We all riding. It is all right.
This is fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed this, you guys.
I enjoyed
Thank you so much, Ms. B, for coming in.
Oh no, thank you so much for having me.
Thank y'all for having me.
We still have to talk about unsolicited lies.
We did talk about it.
I think we did. I think we hit that.
Y'all just no, we're going back to unsolicited lies.
All I said was this: I loved having our
y'all are closing things out.
No, we're just acknowledging that this was a good vibe. That's all. It's a good vibe.
Yeah, thank you for coming in. Thank you so much for being here.
We appreciate all of your time. That's all.
Listen, honey, you have yawned like 10 times, and I've seen the back of your throat. So that's why.
I got a hot date tonight, so yes, the kids are asleep. So, yes, sir.
Okay, so remember I told y'all I would tell you why do liars get mad when they're confronted?
Ooh.
Why?
So a liar becomes hostile or defensive. He is attempting to turn the tables on you. The liar will get hostile because he is angry that you discovered his lies. And that's from Dr. Lillian Glass. She's a body behavioral specialist. And so basically, because you found him out, they mad.
This actually leads into my question that I was going into unsolicited lies to, and actually, thank you so much for reading that first.
Sure.
So why when someone is caught cheating, why when somebody is caught cheating, they get mad at you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they get pissed off at you. But the thing is that the person that was caught cheating, when they find out that you were cheating, they get even madder at you.
That you caught them?
No, they get mad when they find out that you cheated. When they
Yeah.
cheated first.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
just them being a narcissist.
Ooh, right on the head.
But technically they lied first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Right,
literally
that's what
them
I'm
being
saying.
narcissistic.
They're just they just being a narcissist.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
It's
it.
not
The
about
fact,
them
the
anymore.
fact
Yeah.
that
They light
somebody
it
got
off for
over
them.
on them.
Yep. There you go.
Exactly.
But
Took the shine from them.
doesn't that lead into her quote that she just read?
She was reading about why a person gets mad.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I'm talking about why a person gets mad.
well,
Right.
yeah, it does. It ties perfectly into it. Yeah.
Right.
So
It's,
that
it's
person
the
is technically a
discovery
narcissist.
of catching them in their manipulation or
Right.
catching them in their lie.
Right. They
Because
weren't
when you
able to
call
get over
them,
on you.
they get angry. When they
Mm-hmm.
can't turn the tables on you or pull the wool over your head anymore, it pisses
Mm-hmm.
them off. They get defensive and
Yep.
then they go ballistic. And it's just like, okay, this is how you combat that. You just sit there and be like, oh,
What's it called? It's called stonewalling them. You just
yeah,
sit there.
So
Don't
that's
do
what,
Yeah.
you
that's
just
what you do to a narcissist.
Yeah, you
that's
You
stonewall.
don't
in
you don't
in that
you don't
in
feed
that
into it
particular
with your
situation.
energy. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't
In that
feed into it.
when
You
they're
don't.
like losing their mind because you didn't caught them in some foolishness, you just and what I like to say is, are you done?
You know what? We know like what at least what my mom used to say. She said you ain't gonna argue by yourself because they'll stop. Eventually, they'll stop because once they realize they can't get a rise out of you anymore,
Mm-hmm.
or they can't get a rise out of you at all, they'll stop. They're gonna cut it off because it's no point in continuing to filibuster to not filibuster, but to bloat themselves and say, "Oh, it's no point in doing it no more because you're not giving them the attention that they're looking for.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Yeah.
not feeding, you're not believing their
You're
lies,
not feeding into it.
their lies anymore. You're not feeding into the
But
drama
at that
anymore.
point, at that point, aren't you just done?
Not
Yes.
necessarily.
No.
Well, you
If
can,
if I found out that you lying, or if I found out that you cheating, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like,
At that
because
point, you're just
there
done.
isn't anything that you can say because I got receipts
Mhm.
that you lied to me or that you cheated on me. So all this
Mm-hmm.
couple of love that you doing, you just wasting energy because I know that you cheated. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm allowed. This is part of the reason why I don't say anything when I'm just sitting when somebody is. I can tell. I know you're lying. Like, okay,
Mm.
I'm gonna just let you keep on lying. I'm gonna let you dig this hole further and further. I'm gonna let you pull out as many deer brooks as you can because at this point, it's not about proving anything to me. It's about trying to boost your ego. You're just boosting your ego at this point to try to fix or do whatever. So I'm just let you do it. Because like she said, I got the evidence. I got this, I got the receipts. So
Mm-hmm.
what difference does it make?
and
Mm-hmm.
there's no point in me getting mad because ultimately the decision is mine. Do I want to stay knowing that you've lied to me, or am I going? If I'm
Yeah.
staying, then what am I arguing about? If I'm going, what am I arguing about? It's not nothing to argue about.
Mm-hmm.
I just sit here. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
well, I'll be gone tomorrow. Or okay, well, what we having for breakfast?
Well, you have that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Okay,
Yeah.
all right,
Mm, interesting.
yeah.
So what else have we found about lies today? Any other things, Miss B, that you found out?
In general,
Yeah, about unsolicited lies.
let me check my notes.
Let me check my.
You know, I left my notepad downstairs,
Well,
running uphill.
I will say this while Miss B's looking through her notes, because I did have a situation where the person they were doing everything in their power to to get me to feel bad that or feel upset that not only had I caught them in the lie, but they wanted me to sympathize with them, and oh, I had such a traumatic upbringing and all this other stuff, and I just sat there and I'm just like, okay, well, all
Mm.
right. That's okay. Well, I can, and this is my my generic response. Okay, well, I can understand. I get it. You had such certain things going on. Well, all right. I'm gonna go ahead and just, I see myself out. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been within the last few years that's happened. So it's like, okay.
I have a funny liar story.
Ooh.
Funny liar story.
Hold on. Let me mentally prepare for what I can. For what you got to say.
She gotta put her hard hat on.
Okay.
Put your hard hat on.
I met this guy on Jack. I met this guy on Jack. We gonna call him Sherwood. I met this guy on Jack, and I thought he was so cute. I thought he was, and he told me that he worked at J.P. Morgan Chase, and he said his car was in the shop. It was no problem at all. He asked me if I can drop him off to work. I said yeah, and I went and picked him up. I went and picked him up in Sherwood, and went and drove him to work.
Did you have?
I love this story.
When and drove him to work and dropped him off to work, and he went walking inside. I'm waving or whatever. And he was like, "Go ahead, drive off, whatever." Drove off, dropped him off to work, and then I talked to him throughout the day, whatever. And I was like, "Well, let me know what time to come pick you up, whatever." He's like, "You don't got to worry about picking me up. I'm just ride the bus, whatever." I was like, "Okay, no problem." I said, "But I'll come pick you up." He was like, "You don't got to worry about it, whatever." I was like, "Okay, no problem." And talking to him throughout the day, whatever. And then the next day, he said, "Hey, da da da," talk to him. And he was like, "I still didn't get my car back. Do you mind dropping me off to work?" I said, "No problem." I said, "My best friend is with me, Double Dose." She said, "Okay." Double Dose. He said, "No problem." When I picked him up, we laughed and talked and whatever. Dropped him off to work again. Drove off. And then we ride and whatever.
Can you tell this one key detail?
What?
As we were driving off, Chucky asked me, "Did you see him go in the building?"
He was standing outside.
Oh, this one Bluetooth was real popular.
Yeah, it was Bluetooth real popular. Like the Bluetooth that go down to here. Yeah,
with like the magic wand, like the little stick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm listening.
And then we didn't see him go inside again, but still drove off. And then we drove off, whatever. He called or whatever, and I was like, "Yeah, we still riding, whatever." He said, "Can you come back? He can come back pick me up. Can you come back and pick me up? I'm going home. I don't feel well." I said, "Yeah, I'll come pick you up." He came back, went back and picked him up, whatever. Driving back home, whatever. We got in an argument, and he's going off or whatever. So I cussed me out, whatever. And he said, "Let me out. I'm driving on the highway. I'm not going to let you out on the highway so you get hit by a car and I have to go to jail because you done got hit by a car on the highway. I'll drop you off at the bus station. I'll drive downtown and drop him off at the bus station." Oh, my Lord. Drop him off at the bus station, whatever. And then we see him walk. We see him walk. We sit there, and I'm pissed off, and I'm like, I don't want him to be mad and everything else like that. And then Double Dose talk about, let him be mad. He was just talking to you like shit and da da da. And then the funniest thing, we was like Double Dose talking about he left his work badge. She reached in the back seat and grabbed his work badge. Bitch, he didn't work at JP Morgan Chase. Bitch, he worked at Zaxby's. And he was walking to Zaxby's. That's why he never go in the building.
He was on the phone. It was that shit was on the phone.
Well, wait. But who was he talking to on the little Ron joint?
I don't know.
We don't know. But
that's the same thing that he was using in the drive-thru. That's the thing that they were
I promise you, he got out. They said they little goodbyes and whatnot, and he was just standing out there. Because like the way the JP Morgan was, you kind of got to go around to get out. So we going, and it's not small neither. So you going around, and I'm looking at the window. I said, Chucky, he ain't going inside yet. He finna be late to work.
And I said I dropped him off yesterday too. He ain't go inside. He just wait. He didn't even have a car. I was just
They little arguing about. I just know that he started the argument with Chucky because I remember Chucky asked him, "Why didn't you go inside?" Because I went, and then like he said I wasn't feeling good. Why you basically like why you questioning me? And then that's when they started going. I'm sitting in the back seat like this, like like no, he ain't go forward. I'm fine. And then he because I guess when the way he put his bag in the back or whatnot, he got his bag and he got off at the bus stop. And I promise you, his bag was on the floor of the car, and I picked it up, and I'm like, no damn. Listen, I knew he was gonna tell that when he started. That's why I'm like, I already know I gotta contain myself.
My gosh.
Unnecessary lies.
Definitely unnecessary. Now, I have a question though. If you had known that he worked at Zaxby's, would you still have talked to him?
We met on Jax. It didn't matter. It was a hookup.
It was a hookup app.
Okay.
They was coming for one thing.
Oh, okay.
But
help me because I have no idea what Jax is.
So
It was a hookup app. It was. We was just supposed to hook up. And I thought he was cute, and he said he worked at JP Morgan Chase. So I thought, okay, I'm finna get me a little chick. No, bitch, he worked at Zaxby's. I wasn't getting no damn chick. I said, we kept this at Dick and left that there.
Oh my God.
And then come to find out we had sex at his grandma's house. It wasn't even none of his house.
Wait, she didn't have like granny furniture? Like
No. I came in through the kitchen. I didn't even know it was his grandma's house until I was come back there to come pick him up. And then the little bus to drop off the old people came to drop her off, and he said, "Oh, you can just go." He said, "Oh, you can just go inside." But I didn't think nothing of it. He said, what made me think it was grandma's house after the whole thing had went over. The whole thing was over. I had thought about it, and I was like, you know what? That was his grandma's house. Because I came in through the damn kitchen. I thought somebody at his grandma's house. And Sherwood is the hood.
It sounds like you attracted some homosexuals. It sounds like somebody just trying to get freaky so they can move. They can move and roam.
I'm not gonna say we were in high school, but we hadn't quite graduated yet. Let me put it like
that.
Yes,
and technically I was a child, so
you did not have a driver's license.
Right, clearly not in that time.
You was an adult.
You didn't get that till you was grown.
For real.
But that's when we was now I hate to say the word tricking, but that's when we were like fooling those men off of the chat.
This was fooling the men off the chat line. But this was an adult that said he worked at JP Morgan Chase. I was taken to work, and he really worked at Zaxby's.
Oh,
wait. Should we tell them about the
There's
crackhead?
certain levels of this that
Should we
I
tell
have
them
so
about
many
the crackhead?
questions.
I don't.
Crackhead.
I
You
probably
remember the
shouldn't ask them
you remember the
questions though.
crackhead?
They will make that another show.
Okay, I got you.
The crackheads will be another show, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
It will, because now that was my issue.
Yes, but these are things that happened. This podcast has went entirely too long.
Listen, it's way past my bedtime.
I'm having a damn good time. Y'all are a breath of fresh air, man. Thank y'all for just hanging out with me. I had a good time. That's all I got. And we ain't going nowhere. I know we're gonna wrap up soon or whatever.
This month's book is stuck.
I have my book on the couch. Yeah, stuck.
This month's book is stuck. Why can't hello, is this why we can't or won't be move on? It is by just inbox me and I will send you I'll send y'all my my login for Audible if y'all want to listen to it.
No, I want to do Audible. I like to have the book to where I can actively read and take notes and all that stuff.
Oh, well, it's $6 on Amazon.
Okay.
It's $6 on Amazon. They got the book. It's $6 on Amazon. They got it from Barnes and Noble. They're just gonna take the sticker off and mail it to you.
Yeah,
but it's probably cheaper at Barnes and Noble.
If I wasn't so sickly, she'd probably beat on me right now. She'd probably beat the hell out of me right now.
For the old and the new.
For the old and the new, my illness protects me.
Okay, wait a minute. How come you're not
talking? You know, I have to let everybody know. So I'm always the neutral party in this conversation. These conversations.
And what conversation?
Hold on, wait a minute.
It's some feedback from something.
It's a playback happening.
Yeah, it's some feedback from a previous show.
I've been a sub. I've been a tutor. I've seen how.
Yeah, this is a previous show.
That was the previous episode.
Yeah, it's playing back on some
angry
it's a feed from somewhere.
Level of visceral hate come out of their mouth.
How do we stop it?
Did it stop?
Yeah, it stopped.
Yeah.
It stopped.
And I was tripping. I was like,
her mouth isn't moving.
I have no self-awareness. I was like, who the hell?
Let me tell you something, okay?
I have no self-awareness because clearly I didn't recognize my own voice.
Now that we talking about it, time the hell out. Y'all already know I'm altered. Why would this happen when I'm already under? Lord have mercy.
I promise you, I'm looking at
where did this feed come from? This is crazy.
And I thought about said maybe somebody called and that's what happened.
Listen.
Going on. I was so confused.
I'm still confused.
Like, wait, what? Is she talking? And I'm just looking at an old picture. Like,
girl, listen, I thought the same thing. I was like, who answered their cell phone while we on live? Who did that?
That's crazy. I don't know. That's
and
crazy.
I have no self-awareness because, baby, I did not recognize my own voice. I didn't register that was my voice.
That was a memorable conversation from the last time that you and we all spoke when I first showed up on the show. That was a shout out to that episode, which was probably y'all's previous episode. Maybe there was one. Yeah, so that was a snippet from there.
I hit the computer on my boat.
Oh, okay.
So the one time I don't say nothing, now you say something. So.
Oh, sorry. What did I do?
Oh.
Okay.
I am staying out of this one.
I fuss at you later about it.
My name is Bennett and I ain't in it.
I fuss at you later about it. It's okay.
What did I do?
You ain't did nothing. I love you.
I did something?
No, you ain't
love a black woman from infinity to infinity. Boy, I tell you. We could learn a thing or two from the movement of the black woman in any and every scenario. Baby, when I tell you I am a fan of the black woman, my God. Okay, I'm sorry. That's all I got. We were talking about solicited lies and people lying about stuff that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. You know, but that wasn't no lie right there though. That wasn't a lie.
Well, were you okay? Because your face.
You look so confused, honey.
What is going
Oh,
on?
I don't know what I did.
You didn't do anything. I told you that, boy.
Oh,
I was just teasing you. Jesus.
oh, I was like, what did I do?
And you stuck like a damn
really
dead.
nervous.
I'm
He
like,
was like,
bro,
oh my God, what did I do? You didn't do anything.
you didn't do
No,
nothing.
you do nothing.
I
I
was
was just looking at everybody's face. I was like, what did I do?
you ain't do nothing, honey.
You
I'm
do nothing.
just joking.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I hit the computer with the book, and I don't know what I did.
It's okay.
I stopped playing back old episodes.
It's all good.
Okay.
We're copacetic.
Well, make sure you find out what button it was. So when you teach me the buttons, don't teach me that one. I don't want to do that one, okay? So make sure you find out where the book landed. So that we can do it out there too. I'm just saying, the button pushing.
Oh, we did not hear Miss V's story.
Oh,
Did not.
Oh. Okay. So
she thought she got off, y'all. Look. She thought she got off.
I did actually. When I lived in Hawaii with my ex-husband, he had like a thing about McDonald's. Like it was like weird. Which when you're in the military, you can't just be eating all that crap because you have to do PT every day. So it was weird. But he had a thing about McDonald's and he had a thing about head, right? So when we was in the drive-thru, I gave him head.
Cool.
At McDonald's.
Every time you would go in the drive-thru?
No. Just this one time.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I'm with it.
Yeah.
I've done that. I was in a what is that?
we
Checkers.
all done that.
I was in Checkers drive-thru.
So he was super happy by the time we got to the window. He was getting his food.
And,
Yeah.
Got the original Happy Meal. I'm with it.
Now, when we say happy, are we talking ending or?
Yeah, he got a happy ending.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go.
Oh, yeah. Like,
Okay.
why would I start and not finish?
That's who knows. That was a dumb question.
We both raised our hand.
What?
Maybe y'all don't understand when that exhaustion creep in.
It ain't even that. It takes entirely too long. My husband young.
Why does it take too long?
My husband's young.
My old man got really good stamina. I don't, and it's getting to the point where I'm about to start questioning myself. Like, am I really doing a good job?
Don't do that, Black woman. Please don't do that. Don't do that. Right. Don't do that.
I used to be great. I used to be great. It used to be like, yes, you can do this in 3 minutes. Not with this young, but this young whippersnapper. This young whippersnapper, for some odd reason, this young whippersnapper wants to go a full hour. I don't know who the heck you playing with. This ain't happening at all.
No, that's
mine know better. Like the moment we stop, if you trying to continue, you better keep going, because the moment we stop, I done rolled over and went to sleep. And I'm not even mad that we're not cuddling. I don't even care. I'm just like, and you listen, you on one side of the bed, I don't care. You or he in the living room, I don't care. At this point, I'm going to sleep. You got like a nano of a second to flip me over and do something else, because the moment you take a break, I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
When that exhaustion hit, and don't let me be giving head. I done started giving head lazy now. It's like,
wow. On the pillow.
on his thigh, on his tummy. I'm just like, I'm sorry.
Who wants to do that for an hour?
Nobody.
My point is that you gonna raise your hand.
Y'all better ask you.
I'm my hair.
But the thing is, you eating coochie. You ain't trying to suck no dick for an hour.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, I raised my hand, my man. I'm standing up in it, either or.
You're not trying to do it for an hour, though.
You have not sucked dick for an hour.
No. Ain't nobody trying to do it for an hour. Because at some point you gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and bust that nut.
Yeah.
He got 3.5 minutes.
I hear you.
He got
5 minutes is too long. 5 minutes, I'm gonna be like,
minutes,
okay, you
my
playing
jaw
with me. You playing too much. I'm gonna need you to pick it up. Let's
two,
go.
2 minutes. My jaw is already cracking. It's like, hey, I need you to. Yeah, like, because I can dislocate.
I can dislocate my jaw, but the thing is, just like,
wait, like a python, like y'all just they do that to stretch their jaws open and
I can dislocate my jaw.
Y'all wait, y'all double jointed?
No,
yeah.
I'm not.
One yes and one no. Okay.
I'm not.
So I can add this to my research. Okay.
Dislocate my jaw.
No, hell no.
My
like
jaw,
off the hinge?
I can
See,
dislocate
doing
my jaw.
I be doing extra stuff while I'm
That's
doing.
why you tired, dog.
Baby.
Doing extra stuff.
Baby, no.
But the thing is, but the thing is that, but the thing
put
is
that shit in
that
low power mode.
That's what he likes. But
yeah,
that's what he likes.
And
It's
I
For an
can't
hour?
argue that.
Yes.
So your jaw be dislocated for an hour?
I'm not
Yeah,
dislocating my jaw for
3.5 minutes. If
I
he's not doing it,
I have no problem with that.
3.5 minutes. I'm changing position. I'm getting them. I'm getting them super hard again, and I'm hopping right back on top. Like, yeah, I need you to bust, please. Bust.
I could see myself doing that, either male or female, for an hour and being fine. Honestly,
I don't even want head for an hour.
No, because at one point
I know.
Completely
yeah,
right.
It don't feel anymore.
For an hour.
But to my point, I can see myself doing that.
And then I want to
get
up
for an hour. Well, right, but like I don't. I can see myself doing that for an hour.
It's just. I mean, it's just. I guess it just depends what that person is into. If that person's into sloppy head for an hour, nobody wants to do that for an hour.
Some people don't. Some people don't mind. On occasion, I'm sure. You know.
I have to ask him. I don't know. I have to ask him because I've never given him
No, don't ask because that's gonna open the door.
Yeah,
you need to not
sleeping
ask.
dogs lie.
Just don't say nothing.
He not gonna listen.
He start thinking about it.
He gonna get these 3.5 minutes and be grateful. And be damn happy that I'm sucking him for 3.5 minutes. That's it. Cause when I have looked at the time on the TV and I'm like, oh wait a minute, we're approaching 3 minutes. You ain't done. You ain't ready yet.
Like, what is the problem? I don't understand.
And then if once I get on, hop on him, get off, suck him up again, then get back on. After that last time I get off and give head, I'm done. If you ain't busting, I'm done. I done rolled over and I'm going to sleep. I'm done. Like I can't. I medically I don't have the energy anymore.
medically, I don't have energy.
Medically, I don't have no energy, and at this point, I'm a legally disabled person. I'm not doing this anymore. You know,
I'm medically disabled.
Pull out your placard from your car and be like,
disabled abuse.
Like, baby, I need you to figure out to do something. I don't know what you're gonna do. You know,
but I'm not it.
It's not this week.
Oh my God, hilarious.
Hey. And that's why I love when he'll take over and take control. Go, you got it, babe. You got this. You got this.
Not you take control. You got this. Let me just lay here and go to sleep.
Hey.
Not let me lay here.
I've only been to sleep with one person. That's it.
And that was too funny. I had to tell her that is not sex.
I was brand new. That was my first. And we had been together for a while. And I fell asleep during. I was so tired because hold on, Ms. V, hold on. I was working 2 jobs and I was in school.
I'm not shading. That's not this. The face was not towards you. Because if I fall asleep, you ain't doing nothing.
That's what I had to tell her. I was like, it's like you didn't have sex, honey. I
don't know. I don't know what that was.
What they said on Color Purple? He just he just lay on top of you.
Yeah, he just lay on top of me.
We were doggy style, and we got into it.
Oh, so he rocked you to sleep, basically. Because I wasn't.
That made me drop my phone.
Oh God.
That was not.
He rocked me to sleep. I guess so. I never thought of it like that.
Just sang a song because it would have been a lullaby.
Oh yeah, I was.
It was not effective at all.
I was gone, and that was the first time I'd ever done that. First and last time I'd ever done that with anybody. And I've had quite a few partners since him, and I have not done that ever since. Now don't get me wrong. I might feel a twinge of like, "Ooh, I'm getting tired," but that's only because I'm not a well person. But
just I'm not a well person.
That's why I'm trying to let Mr. know, like, hey, come on, you ain't ready yet. Oh, okay, all right. Well, I can't do no more. Lift a leg, do something. Use my hand if you need to, babe.
Use my hand.
I'm going to sleep.
Now you just looked away. Use my hand if you need to. I'm just gonna look away.
I'm going to sleep. Here you go. And God bless him. He understands. He understands. Wow. At least I hope. We'll see.
Bless his heart. Oh, Southern people, bless his heart.
Bless his little heart.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna wrap this up.
Yeah, because
thank y'all so much for tuning in to Shit Talk Podcast.
I did this almost 2 times.
Thank y'all so much for your guests.
We love our guests. Our guests are awesome.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
Thank you for being a part of us.
Yes.
Y'all are my favorites. Yeah. Next time I won't have a phone malfunction and I can do this from my phone and I can actually share it to my page.
You can still share it to your page.
So mad.
You can still share it to your page. It's still up. We don't.
Okay. Yeah. Then I'll do that.
Yeah.
Because my phone got really, really hot and was like, no, we shutting down. So I had to switch over.
And share this on. And what is your page again?
A few minutes of positivity with B.
Few minutes of positivity.
Check out her moments of positivity that she posts every day but Wednesday.
Whatever,
you are so hung up on her not posting.
I mean, like, so hung up. Nobody else has complained but you. It'd be 200 people that watch my video and nobody else has said, oh, you should do Wednesday. No one, just you.
Because they're happy about the other 6 out of the 7 days of the week that you give, or however many days. And
it's only 4.
They don't care.
He said they don't care.
They don't care. I care. These moments of days of positivity really help me out.
You can go back and replay them. They're still on there. You can go back.
Yeah, those are the ones I've already seen.
So you want fresh material and Wednesday? You being greedy.
They greedy. And
very
spoiled. And spoiled.
Don't play me. Don't start playing music when we call you out on your narcissism.
Fresh material.
Don't start.
And then after I get off the live, he calls me to talk to me. So then there's that. I don't appreciate you playing music.
They talking that shit. That's a double dose. Underlay, vámonos. They lucky I did not pull up with the check, but they wanna hear it, so here I go. Let me talk my shit.